Than 2 weeks ago, Calgary Stampeders playing Saskatchewan at Taylor Field in Regina. And it took a last-minute touchdown by Larry Willis to give Calgary a 29-28 win. Last Saturday, Calgary went north to Edmonton. Eskimos' Henry Williams returned 2 punts for touchdowns. He had a record return of 221 yards. Williams had him jumping at Commonwealth Stadium as Edmonton crushed Calgary. And head coach Bob Esposito 54-16. Then last Sunday, under the dome of BC Place, the Lions home opener against Saskatchewan. BC defensive back Mel Bird had 3 interceptions and returned 1 for a touchdown as the Lions ran away 44-1. This afternoon from McMahon Stadium in the home of the 1988 Winter Olympics, it's the BC Lions Calgary Stampeders, the 87 home opener on TSN.
TSN CFL Game of the Week. It's our game around here, brought to you by Carling O'Keefe Brewery.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Week 2 of the Canadian Football League on TSN. I'm Vic Router. Hope you're having a great Canada Day holiday. Coming up in just a few minutes, the BC Lions, Calgary Stampeders from McMahon Stadium. But first, let's look at the standings heading into the second week. And in the East, Winnipeg, Ottawa opened with wins last weekend, while in the West, BC, Edmonton, Calgary all have 2 points. But remember, Calgary has already played 2 games, and this afternoon will be their third in just 10 days. Coming up at halftime, a talk with Ottawa General Manager Paul Robson. Peter Watts has a CFL notebook. John Bonk, 1st and 10. That's all coming up at halftime. But now, let's go out to McMahon, John Wells, and Leif Pedersen. Sports happenings on this holiday afternoon. They are playing Game 3 of the series at Exhibition Stadium between the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees, and they are scoreless now in the 5th inning at Exhibition Stadium. Milwaukee has taken a 1-0 lead on Detroit. They are playing in the 2nd inning at County Stadium in Milwaukee. In the National League, coming up later this afternoon at about 4:05 Eastern Time, it'll be San Francisco and Atlanta. And then tonight at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, wind-up of a series between the Expos and the Cubs. Expos trailing St. Louis by 6.5 games in that National League East. It'll be Bob Sebra for Montreal going against Greg Maddux and the Cubs. Wimbledon, women's quarterfinals. A winner today, number 1 seed, Martina Navratilova. She crushed Diane Balustrade 6-2, 6-1. Also winning Steffi Graf, Chris Everett, and Pam Shriver. And so in the semis, it'll be Navratilova and Everett, Graf against Shriver. Now, let's return to McMahon Stadium.
Yard line, tripped up there by Garrett Dahl, number 97, out of the University of Alberta.
Well, Mel Bird had such a great week last week, 3 interceptions, but the key, I think, today, John, for the BC Lions will be Roy DeWalt, and can he get his offense untracked early? Had they been playing against anybody else last week, they might have been in trouble. Big all-Canadian offensive line, and there's Roy DeWalt. 2 imports, Ray Krause and Anthony Parker. They're going to try and run the football early.
And a couple of pretty fine receivers outside as well, Armour and Sandusky. DeWalt goes to the far side on 1st down. And the pickup close to 10 yards. That was Anthony Parker coming out of the backfield.
Kind of an unusual formation for the BC Lions. Put Anthony Parker out as a wide receiver and run him on a quick screen, and got good production. Nice way to start the game. First play and get a 1st down. Those are the guys that are going to have to put pressure on Roy DeWalt, Vince Goldsmith, Harold Hallman. They have to have a big effort this afternoon.
It is a 1st down for DeWalt and the BC Lions at the 45-yard line. Anthony Parker, close to 4. Met there by Bernie Morrison, the veteran of the Stampeder linebacking corps. Morrison flanked by Lamont Jeffers and Quincy Williams to start this one this afternoon.
And the pressure is on these three guys, and especially number 72, Bernie Rorison. He's going to have to be very active at that middle linebacking spot. He's played for 10 years. He knows the offenses. He'll do a good job.
Terry Irvin is back in town, starting at quarterback for Calgary. 2nd and 5. DeWalt in trouble. Vince Goldsmith, 78, through for the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, we talked about the keys to beating the BC Lions, and this is the biggest one. Get pressure on DeWalt. He had no chance really to set up. Vince Goldsmith gets the sack, and you know what's interesting about these Calgary Stampeders? Harold Hallman and Goldsmith, they play side by side. They were both Shenley Rookies of the Year.
It'll be 3rd down facing Lou Pasaglia. Richie Hall, number 27, is back. Pasaglia averaging 44 punts so far. That's Gary Allen. Allen finds a bit of running room, and he's out at the 39. Jamie Terrace, number 23 for BC, forcing number 23 for the Stampeders out of bounds.
First down, Stampeders.
16-yard return after a 46-yard punt by Lou Pasaglia.
Well, John, I'm sure the fans in Calgary here are as excited as we are to see Rick Johnson in his first series at quarterback in 1987. He did everything so well last year, and boy, he's the kind of guy they have to have in there because everybody else rallies around him.
First down, Calgary. Johnson will throw over the middle. Emmanuel Tolbert. And Tolbert to the 50-yard line. Great catch. Stopped by the linebacker, Tyrone Cruz. A pickup of 22 yards. Good start for the Stampeders offensively.
Well, they send Gary Allen in motion, and that stretches the defense. Now Emmanuel Tolbert has the seam, and Rick Johnson, quick setup, hits him in between the linebackers, and what a great way to start the game. In between Konar and Ty Cruz, that's super pattern by Emmanuel Tolbert.
First down, Calgary from the 50. Johnson to the air once more. Another completion. This time, Tony Woodruff. Woodruff, one of 2 wide receivers for Calgary. Larry Willis, the other one, both out of Fresno State.
Well, you see the timing of a veteran quarterback. Johnson threw that ball before Tony Woodruff had even made his break on the hook pattern, and Andre Francis just couldn't get in there in time and break it up. Good catch, high in the hands, and back-to-back first downs for the Stampeders.
Gain of 12 on that one lead. Stampeders just outside the 35-yard line of BC. Early in the first, no score in Calgary. This is Gary Allen. Allen, good running room inside. And inside the 30, met by Ty Cruz, 91. And also by Bernie Jones, number 60.
You know, John, in order for Gary Allen to be successful on the ground, he has to obviously have some good help up front from his offensive line right there. But number 12, Tim Petros, is also in the backfield, and he did a great job that time, making a block on John Omer, the outside linebacker, and helped Allen get through there.
Inside the receivers, Marshall Toner, Emmanuel Tolbert. Outside, Larry Willis and Tony Woodruff. 2nd down and 4, Calgary. Johnson, some pressure this time to the far side, has his man, and he's outside, out of bounds. Larry Willis, the receiver on the play, but he was just outside and covered that time by Mel Bird, your old buddy.
Yeah, Mel Bird. Well, you know, I mean, I'm not on Mel Bird. He had 3 interceptions last week, but a lot of them were pretty easy ones. John, you could have made the catches. That's a defensive front of the BC Lions. I wonder when they're going to get the toaster Brett Williams in there. He has not been activated as of yet. And Andre Francis, number 14, beat out Darnell Clash, as I'm sure everybody's aware of now, and he starts at that cornerbacking spot. Johnson will hold for J.T. Hay at the 37. Mel Bird, the lone back for BC. J.T. Hay wide, second one he's missed all season long. That was his 7th try of the year. He is 5 of 7. Stampeders on the board first, and the BC Lions, a rather successful drive. But the Stampeders come away with only 1 point as J.T. Hay misses from 36 yards away. Home opener for the Calgary Stampeders in 1987. McMahon Stadium in Calgary. A beautiful afternoon, 27 degrees Celsius. Stampeders out in front of the BC Lions by 1 early in the first quarter. Lions here 71 hours after beating Saskatchewan on Sunday in BC. The Stampeders trying to rebound after a 54-16 humiliation in Edmonton just 88 hours ago. That was Saturday night, so not too much rest for these two teams. No, but you know, as Conrad Holloway told me before the game, Connie came and made the trip with the BC Lions. Of course, he's on the non-active roster, but as he said, and it was so true, the players love it because they get 2 checks in a real hurry.
That's true. Referee this afternoon is Ken Lazarick, his 10th season in the Canadian Football League. He's a high school teacher at Grant Park Collegiate in Winnipeg. And he's backed up by Pickett, Steen, McDonald, Rohan, and Stavely. First down Lions, and Roy DeWaltz for Sandusky. Sandusky nowhere to go. Ron Hopkins to make the tackle.
Well, Richie Hall came from the inside safety spot and was in there too, and he read it so quickly. Not much of a gain. Donnie Matthews, well, some controversy out in BC that he and Joe Galat aren't exactly the best of buddies right now, but I don't really believe that.
Well,
Joe.
You talked to Joe, I talked to Don. Everybody seems happy.
Sure, everybody's happy. You know, a lot of people like to speculate when certain guys aren't in the lineup, and they make a big story out of nothing.
2nd and 9 for DeWalt and the Lions. Over the middle has Sandusky once more. Sandusky stopped short of a first down. Good defensive effort by 85 Mike Emery.
John, that was the play that we showed in the opening of our game when he scored that touchdown out in BC last week, and he just lets everybody clear deep, cuts across the field, and makes the catch, hopes to pick up enough yardage for the first down. But, of course, Calgary saw that play on film. They were ready for it. They came up and made some pretty good play to stop him short of that first down. 95, Lamont Jeffers in there. He originally started with the Montreal Alouettes and came over to the Calgary Stampeders.
Lou Pasaglia is standing at his 28-yard line on 3rd down and 3. Good kick for Pasaglia. Gary Allen. Allen. Good return. He's across the 35, almost to the 36-yard line. 13-yard return, 45 yards punt by Lou Pasaglia that time. Bob Vespaziani in his 2nd year as the Calgary Stampeder head coach. Currently, he has a 1-0 lead, but there's a long way to go in this football afternoon at McMahon Stadium. Stampeders in front by 1.
Beginning and never let up.
So far, it's working well for Johnson and the Stampeders. Gary Allen has a pickup of 14 yards. He was the leading rusher in Canadian football last year, stopped by Nelson Martin, number 4 for the Lions.
I think when you look at Gary Allen's season last year, to me, of course, he was over 1,000 yards. That's great. Every back wants it. But the most impressive thing was he averaged 5.6 yards a carry. And if you can do that in the Canadian football, you're going to be extremely successful.
First down, Stampeders at their 49. Marshall Toner, a gain of maybe 3 on the reception. Met by Andre Francis. Left cornerback, BC Lions. Francis is the young man that beat Darnell Clash out of a starting job in BC in training camp.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised about that. Darnell Clash, of course, such a great punt returner as well, and to not have him in there, Andre Francis must have really played well.
They mark it as a gain of 4, 2nd down, 6 to go for Calgary. Just shy of midfield. Gary Allen once more. Heavy traffic that time for Allen. He was met by Bernie Jones, Rick Clausen, and the newcomer up front for BC, Greg Stuman, number 45.
You know, on 2nd and 5, BC was bringing everybody. Mel Bird was coming on a safety blitz, and when you get guys up front doing all that stunting, it's very difficult for the offensive linemen to pick up their blocks on a running play, and Calgary really had no chance.
3rd down, a long way to go for Calgary, so Glenn Harper comes in to kick it away. His average on the season, just over 43. Sandusky, number 3, deep for the Lions. He'll take it at the 20. Upfield tacklers led by Tim Petrus, number 12 for Calgary. So we'll see what the Lion offense can do under the direction of Roy DeWaltz. They moved a little bit on their opening sequence, Leaf, but Calgary defense has played it pretty tough.
Well, it's just a good defense they're playing against. Calgary, you know, of course, didn't look very good in Edmonton last week, but, you know, they've got good personnel. That was one of those games. They get it out of their system, and I think they're going to give BC a tough battle here this afternoon.
Pressure for Roy DeWalt. He gets it away, and it's almost intercepted. Mike Emery, 85. Or was that Jeffers, 95? I'm sorry, Lamont Jeffers. It was Emery, okay. Had a shot at it.
They were trying to hit John Pankratz out in the flat, and once again it was the pressure on Roy DeWalt that really created that opportunity for Lamont Jeffers, and no question, you can't say it enough times, that's the key.
2nd and 10 Lions, just shy of their 30. More pressure for DeWalt, and he's down, loose ball, and I believe it's picked up by the Calgary Stampeders. Now it's loose again. And it goes back to the BC Lions. Stampeders had a chance at a turnover deep in BC territory, but the Lions have retained possession. Johnson was ready.
A good pressure in there. Johnson was ready to come in. He's going to get the ball back. Be patient, Rick. You guys are going to get it back for you. But Bernie Morrison, they come with the blitz. And, of course, you know, you can get burned playing the blitz if you don't get in there. But Calgary's been successful. They got that pressure, and I believe it was John Blaine that finally came up with that football and kept it in BC's possession.
A loss of 13. That brings Lou Pasaglia in. Pasaglia at his own 2. And this is 3rd and 23.
Well, Calgary's had good field position here in the first quarter.
Larry Willis and Gary Allen deep. This will be Willis at the 45. Nowhere to go. Maybe a return of 2. Leading the tacklers upfield, special teamer Peter Vandenbos out of the UBC Thunderbirds, and Scott Leckie, number 34 from Guelph.
Yeah, both teams have great personnel in the special teams. You're going to hear a guy today called Jamie Terrace, and he plays for the BC Lions. And, boy, 9 times out of 10, he's the first guy down in those kicking situations to make the tackles.
Not many stats on Rick Johnson for 1987, but they were extremely impressive in 1986. He was all Canadian. Good fake for Allen. Johnson to the near side, and it's picked off. Andre Francis with the interception, number 14 for the BC Lions. Johnson intended that one for Tolbert, or Toner, I believe, number 76.
Great bit of faking by Rick Johnson. Had everybody fooled except number 14, Andre Francis. It was Larry Willis trying to sneak it into him down the sidelines, but Andre Francis, quick as a cat. And, well, you know, we talked about Darnell Clash not being in there. That's why.
He was one of the BC members of the secondary who didn't get an interception last week. He has one to kick off 87
Well, they had a bunch
week.
of them.
On the turnover, first down, BC. More pressure for DeWalt. He gets away from it. That's Jan Carinci, the former Argonaut. And Carinci has a first down to the 45.
DeWalt's pass complete to Carinci.
Bernie Morrison back covering, a 13-yard pickup for the BC Lions. Deepest penetration of the afternoon.
You have to feel sorry for Calgary. You know, they jammed up Jim Sandusky. They did everything right because that's where DeWalt wanted to go. He turns around, finds Jan Carinci open, and that's Jan Carinci, strangely enough, his first catch in 1987.
Both slot backs for BC. Didn't make a catch last week against Saskatchewan. First down Lions at the 45 to Waltz. Far side has a man open. That's Ned Armour, number 8. And covering Terry Irvin. Irvin back in Calgary for the first time as a player for the Stampeders since 1983. He patrolled the sidelines for Calgary from 77 to 83. Matthews has a 12-yard pickup on that play.
Oh, he's got a great setup in BC. You know, he's got such good talent, such great depth. You know, you have a guy like Glenn Jackson out of the lineup. He brings John Ulmer in, and he plays well. And what a luxury for Donnie Matthews.
Time for DeWalt. And nobody there as he aimed it for the corner. Ned Armour was the closest Lion receiver. Terry Irvin was much closer to the ball in coverage for Calgary.
Turn to page C3 of your game program.
Talked to Bob Vespasiani yesterday, and 1-1 with the first home game at McMahon Stadium. I asked him, you know, if he felt a little pressure to really try and put on a show for the fans and liven things up, and he said, no, I don't care about that. I just want to win the game. If it's 10-9, that's all that matters to me. I kind of disagree with that.
Well, he was pretty firm when he said it yesterday. No question about that. I may agree with you. 2nd and 10 for Roy DeWalt. And DeWalt has a receiver, Jim Sandusky. Sandusky inside the 10, down to the 5, and inside of the 2-yard line. Finally forced out by Larry Hogue. Sandusky, a great time last week against Saskatchewan on Sunday. And a 32-yard pickup here to get BC down to the Calgary 2.
Boy, does he run a super pass pattern on Terry Irvin. Now, Terry Irvin's one of the best in the league. He's not an easy guy to beat, but Sandusky works him and runs the hook, and 32 yards later, he's got BC knocking at the door.
Sandusky has 4.5 speed, and Don Matthews compares him to Brian Kelly, but says he's a faster Brian Kelly.
He's a heck of a lot faster than Brian Kelly.
2nd and goal to go from the 2. DeWalt looks to the end zone. Pankratz has the touchdown. John Pankratz puts the BC Lions in front, 6-1. He beat Richie Hall, number 27.
A great play-action fake by Roy DeWalt. It freezes everybody, including Richie Hall, that has Pankratz man-to-man, and that's his first catch in 1987. Not a bad average. 1 catch, 1 touchdown.
And the turnover leads to a major for the BC Lions.
Well, as the good teams usually do, they convert that turnover into 6 points, and Roy DeWalt feathers that ball in so nicely to John Pankratz, and the veteran, the 8-year veteran from Simon Fraser, gets his first touchdown of the year.
Lou Pasaglia, no mistake on the convert. The BC Lions have moved out in front of the Calgary Stampeders by 6. Still lots to go in the first quarter. 4 minutes, 45 seconds remain. It is the BC Lions leading the Calgary Stampeders 7-1 in Calgary. A beautiful afternoon, McMahon Stadium in Calgary. A reminder to stay with us for halftime with Vic Rutter from our control center in Toronto. Paul Robson of the Ottawa Rough Riders, the setup to the game with Winnipeg this week. That's a battle for first in the East. CFL Notebook on the dispersal draft with Peter Watts. 1st and 10 with John Bonk, and first half highlights with my partner, Leif Pedersen.
You know, people are going to enjoy that 1st and 10 with John Bonk. He's really got some interesting stuff this year, and make sure you watch it. It's a good segment in our halftime show. You know, John, on that, Roy DeWalt, 7 for 9, 77 yards, 1 touchdown so far here in the first quarter, but those 7 completions been to 5 different receivers, and boy, oh boy, you know, you spread it around, you keep everybody happy and involved in the game, and I really like that.
After the turnover, it took DeWalt 5 plays to go 58 yards, and then pass 2 to John Pankratz for the touchdown. Jan Carinci to kick off. Ron Hopkins and Andy McVeigh deep for the Calgary Stampeders. McVeigh, 28. Flag is down as McVeigh finds a good seam and running room to the 37. Jamie Terrace, we mentioned him before. Great special team player in his rookie season with the BC Lions. Mike Emery caught for holding by the referee, Ken Lazaruk. First penalty of the game, and it nullifies a 32-yard return for Andy McVeigh.
Now, that's not the way you want to answer a touchdown being scored upon. You just have to start at your own 5-yard line. You know, quarterbacks like to play on a short field. This is a long field, 105 yards to get to the end zone.
Well, tack on 32. The Stampeders were starting as a 37, reasonable field position, but now in the shadow of the goalpost for Rick Johnson. There's his afternoon, 41 yards. The big stat in the right-hand corner, 1 interception. And almost another one as Johnson went for Larry Willis, number 89. Tight coverage.
It was tight coverage by Mel Bird. He was right on him, but of course Larry Willis has the luxury to be looking back. He knows the flight of that football, and he made a good adjustment. Just couldn't hang on to it.
The other outside receiver for Calgary, Tony Woodruff, is also from Fresno State. 2nd and 10, facing Rick Johnson now.
All right, how about this? The 2 wide receivers for BC, Ned Armour and Jim Sandusky, both from San Diego State.
How about that?
Yeah, isn't that great?
Second and 10, Calgary. This is Gary Allen. Allen has a tough time finding any running room to the outside. Maybe a gain of 1. The Stamps will have to kick it away. John Ulmer forced him out that time. Ulmer, the son of a former CFL great, Ed Ulmer, with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
You know, a lot of people might say, well, 2nd and long, why didn't Calgary throw it? You know, they made a smart move. You're too deep in your own territory. Run the football. Hope Glenn Harper has a better kick than his last one of 36 yards, and then you got to rely on your defense.
Crawford and Sandusky deep for BC, but not that deep. They're at the Calgary 45.
Oh, yeah, they're going to get great field position, and after that last drive by Roy DeWalt, I know he's eager to get back in there.
Larry Crawford. Crawford gets to the 41.
46-yard punt by
Tim Petrus led the Calgary tacklers, help from Mike Emery. In 2 costly plays, the turnover and the penalty, Stampeders facing some difficulty. The turnover cost them a touchdown, and the penalty cost them field position.
Larry Crawford, the all-time leading interceptor for the BC Lions.
DeWalt has the Lions first down at the Calgary 41. Parker, and Parker has tough running as he gets just inside the 40, maybe a gain of 2.
Parker, the ball carrier.
Quincy Williams, number 91, newcomer in that Stampeder linebacking corps, made the tackle.
Well, now you got to feel sorry for Bernie Morrison. He comes around the corner and he's expecting to see Parker make the tackle. All of a sudden, big old 6'8", 280 Jim Mills is right in his face and just buried him.
Second down. Make it 5 yards to go, BC. DeWalt under pressure and can't get to his man. Harold Hallman supplied the pressure that time. The intended receiver was Ned Armour.
That's a big play on defense. You know, 3rd and 5. They're in scoring position. And Harold Hallman, the guy we featured at the beginning of our telecast, who's really their leader on defense and an inspirational leader as well, really gets in for the pressure. They have to have this or it could be a long day.
So Lou Pasaglia will try his first field goal of the afternoon from 48 yards away. Pasaglia adds to the Lion totals a 43-yard field goal for Lou Pasaglia. 10-1 for the visitors. Mistakes, Leaf.
A couple of mistakes really cost the Calgary Stampeders. The one turnover, and you can't do that. We all know that. And the penalty, they had to punt it away, but I think they're happy about only giving up 3 points. You kick it away from your own 3-yard line. That's, with a guy like Lou Pasaglia in the lineup, that's a gift 3 right off the bat.
Pasaglia hit 3 of 4 field goals against Saskatchewan last week, so he adds 1 more. 4 of 5 on the season, and that's his longest, 43.
That is a good pal of mine, Jan Carinci, and a great career move for him being traded to the BC Lions. You know, when he was with the Argonauts, he was Mr. Everything. He did too many things too well, and they couldn't really afford to give him a starting position. So he got traded to BC. Donnie Matthews said, "You are my starting slot back. You even get to kick off sometimes."
He had some nagging injuries in his first year out in Vancouver, but he played 17 games. McVeigh back along with Ron Hopkins.
Well, he cut 50 passes last year, Jan Carinci, and that's a great year. Originally a territorial pick of the Argos in '81. Did everything possible to help that football team. Was on their '83 Grey Cup winner.
Breeze picking up slightly, and the ball was blown off the kicking tee, so Carinci sets it up again.
Boy, you don't see that old square-toed shoe too much anymore.
They retired Cutlers, didn't they?
Ah.
Hopkins. Stamps could use a good return here. Hopkins tripped up, and he took a pretty good hit going down. Paul Nastasiuk leading the tacklers for the Lions. 20-yard return, a 65-yard kickoff. Better field position here.
Have a look at this. You got to accelerate up through that hole. Somebody just catches the foot, and he does a nice cartwheel.
Jake Christensen, number 71, is the injured Calgary Stampeder back at the 25. He's being attended to by Pat Clayton.
Yeah, he's a backup slot back, and behind Marshall Toner and Emmanuel Tolbert. Okanagan Sun Juniors. You know them well.
Kelowna. Just down the road from the Capri Hotel. That's Kaposi country.
I knew that.
Yeah. And it's great country, too. The Okanagan Valley. Jay Christensen played 4 games with the Lions last year. Or the Stampeders last year. Andy McVeigh out of the University of Toronto in his first pro season. And he's been a pleasant surprise for Calgary. Special teams player, but they're going to give him the football a little bit coming out of the backfield.
Well, if he gets a chance to play, you know, Tim Petros does such a good job, and Gary Allen, I mean, who's going to replace him? But this is a good team for Andy McVeigh to be with. And of course, at the U of T, he graduated with a degree in forestry. Now, with Banff just a few miles away, I mean, this has got to be the greatest place for him to be on a
He'd like
day
to go
off.
out looking at the trees and the bears on weekends when the Stampeders aren't on.
There's some good-looking trees out here.
Jay Christensen up and off the field. And it'll be Stampeder first down from their own 30. Calgary trailing 10-1 with 2:16 to play in quarter 1. Johnson time to throw. Tolbert got a hand on it, but couldn't bring it in.
No, look, Rick looked pretty good in his initial series at the quarterback, but he seems to be throwing off the wrong foot a little bit here. That was an easy pass to try and filter in there to Emmanuel Tolbert, and he really threw it poorly.
He had a man open, and Johnson couldn't get it there. Second and 10, Calgary from the 30.
Boy, he's a personable guy, though. He really does his best to promote the Stampeders in the offseason, and they just love him here. They get that blonde hair, that California look.
Under some pressure, and there was interference in the backfield. Tony Woodruff, the intended receiver.
Well, there's no question about that. The ball floated and really didn't get there as quickly as Andre Francis anticipated it would.
Calgary, number 14, first down.
Andre Francis.
Well, it threw the timing of the whole pattern off, and Francis expected the ball to be there a little quicker. He came over the top, and that's a good call.
See if the Stampeders now can turn a bit of a break into a bit of a drive. They're down by 9.
I'll tell you, John, over at the far side of the field on that play, Keith Gooch and Larry Willis were having a pretty good slug match scoring, so I'm going to keep my eye out for that one.
Net gain is 17 on the interference call against Francis. This is Gary Allen. He's an explosive runner and got an extra couple that time near the 55. Ty Cruz leading the BC tacklers. They mark it as a gain of 8 yards. Second and 2.
Yeah,
long 2.
That's a long 2, but this is a great situation for Rick Johnson. Now, he's got the defense where he wants it. 2 yards to go, either run or throw, and it's a super situation for him.
Gary Allen once more. And he's close. Will he have it? I think so. Ty Cruz, the tackle for BC once more.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm impressed with number 12, Tim Petros. He's only 5'10", but he's 200 pounds, and he's done a super job lead blocking for Gary Allen here in the first quarter.
It is a first down for the Calgary Stampeders on a bit of a march here late in the opening quarter. 47 seconds to play. Stamps down by 9. It is 10-1 for the visiting BC Lions.
These special tickets are available at all Calgary Co-op shopping centers.
Johnson quickly over the middle, has his man. Tolbert once more. Check that, Gary Allen, 23.
That's a great read by Rick Johnson. He saw John Ulmer and Ty Cruz coming. That means that the middle safety, Nelson Martin, has to pick up Gary Allen, and he's got a long way to go. What a super play by Johnson to drop it off and Gary Allen to read it. And, I mean, they only made 5 yards, but you're looking at a sack, and they get 5 yards out of it. That's super offense.
Second and 5, Stampeders inside BC territory at the 47. This is Petros. Petros finds a big hole, and he's inside the 30. Melvin Bird over to make the stop. And that'll be quarter 1 at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. The Stampeders threatening. They trail it by 9 points to the BC Lions. Second quarter on TSN's Game of the Week. Up. Back for the Stampeders. First down inside. The BC 30 flags are down as Johnson looks to the end zone and has Tolbert. Touchdown. Emmanuel Tolbert in front of Nelson Martin, but flags were down. A 28-yard touchdown. Johnson to Tolbert. It looks like it'll stand for the Stampeders.
What a great throw by Rick Johnson. And Emmanuel Tolbert, you know, we talked about him at the beginning. He's the guy that has to take charge when Ray Alexander left and be the main man in the receiving corps. Rick Johnson gets good time to throw. They get a good matchup, ET on Nelson Martin, one-on-one, and there's no contest, a post-corner pattern. Boy, that's pretty.
Emmanuel Tolbert has the Stampeders within 3. J.T. Hay now makes it within 2. It is 10-8. The BC Lions leading the Calgary Stampeders as Calgary opens its home season in the CFL for 1987. Stamps coming in 1-1. BC Lions unbeaten 1-0 after beating Saskatchewan last Sunday.
Yeah, nice job by the offensive line and Gary Allen and Tim Petros to pick up the blitz and allow Johnson the time to find Tolbert. And when he gets one-on-one, he's a tough guy to stop. Got the good dance moves there, too. I like that.
Good music in the background. Emmanuel Tolbert, former Saskatchewan Rough Rider. He had quite a year in 1986. Good start to 87.
You know, John, I'll never forget Emmanuel Tolbert in the 1982 Grey Cup game in Toronto. He was playing for the Argonauts against Edmonton, and he took a quick screen against Larry Heibaugh and went about 80 yards, and it was the first game he'd ever played for Toronto.
The scoring drive took only 4 plays for Calgary to travel 80 yards. Time of possession 121, and the toss to Tolbert makes it a 2-point ball game.
That's his second touchdown in 1987.
J.T. Hay. Bird and Crawford deep. This is Mel Bird. And Bird has an opening across the 40, brought down at the 43. Stu Laird leading the Calgary tacklers. Kerry Yelerenko, number 68, also in the tackle. Sounds like Kerry Yelerenko should be playing hockey for the Oilers.
He's too big to play hockey for the Oilers. 6'5", 275. Where are you going to put him? Well, I guess goal.
Goal, I suppose.
Goal, yeah. He probably was a goalie when he was a kid.
But the University of Cincinnati was born in Sudbury.
Although he could probably play with Gretzky and score.
That's true. You could play with Gretzky and score. Anthony Parker across the 50. Lions started back. They lead by 2.
Yeah, Parker's a great size. 6 foot 210, and he kind of runs bigger than a 210 running back. He looks about 230 when he gets out there. Little swing screen and nice yardage. First down, 7 yards.
Gain of 6 for Parker. It is 2nd down and 4.
Okay, 6.
Lions just shy of their 50. This is Parker once more. Harold Hallman, the tackle.
You know, he's so quick, that Harold Hallman. He snuck around behind the play and got Parker from behind, held him short of the first down. He is so fast, that Harold Hallman. Not a tall guy, only 6 feet tall, 240 pounds, but of course, his quickness is his main feature.
And he was the Rookie of the Year in Canadian football last year after a sensational season.
All Canadian, all everything. 2nd year out of Auburn.
Gary Allen and Richie Hall deep for Calgary as Pasaglia gets set to kick it away. The charge was on. Pasaglia had time. Gary Allen back at the 10 and nowhere to go. Forced back to the 8. Allen then dragged down by John Ulmer, number 76. 2-yard return, a minus 2-yard return after a 49-yard kick. The first game of the season,
You know, he was
Saskatchewan.
from the Regina Junior Rams, and when I played for Saskatchewan, we had so many guys from that team. Roger Aldag, Brian Illebrin, Bob Poley. They were all members of one of the best junior teams in Canada.
And Bob Poley will lead the Calgary Stampeder contingent in the hog calling contest to kick off the Calgary Stampede on Friday.
They picked the right guy.
He's a prairie guy. He likely
yeah.
knows how to do it. Stampeders first down at the 7-yard line. Quarter 2. It is BC leading by 2. 10-8. Petros. Stuman on the stop. Number 45. Matthews on the sidelines. Pretty happy guy, Don Matthews.
I think he is. You know, you lose a guy like James Parker, and you have a guy like Greg Stuman, who's been around for a couple of years, comes in and spent the whole year on the reserve list last year, but he's come in and done a good job. The depth on this team is scary, and I think that's their main strength.
Rick Johnson, 5 of 9, 75 yards. 8 of 11 for the Walt. They are close so far. The quarterbacks this afternoon. Johnson in trouble and down. Lost the football. Is it live? And touchdown. Ty Cruz forced the fumble. And John Ulmer has his first touchdown in Canadian football. Stampeders seemed slow to react to that loose football.
Well, I think they were slow to react because they thought the official should have blown it dead. We're going to have a chance to see it again. Here comes the hit. It's Kevin Konar on Johnson. Now he goes down, then the ball comes loose. I'm not so sure that shouldn't have been whistled dead, John. John Ulmer gets an easy touchdown, but I think maybe the ball should have been dead.
Tough break for the Calgary Stampeders, isn't it, if you can't be caused to fumble by contact with the ground?
The ground cannot cause a fumble, and in that indication, I clearly think the ground caused the fumble. I'm not so sure about that one.
It's on the scoreboard, and one more from Lou Pasaglia as the BC Lions take advantage of another turnover and come up with 6 points from that one. It is 17-8, just after the Stampeders close to within 2.
Well, I tell you, you play a good team like Winnipeg or BC, and you can't give them the freebies like that. Now, John Ulmer, he says, I'll take it any way I can get it. He's getting a chance to start for the injured Glenn Jackson, and he was Johnny on the spot with the touchdown, but I really believe that play should have been whistled dead.
I think Bob Vespasiani would agree with you.
Oh.
And he'll undoubtedly agree with you after he sees the tape of this one sometime tomorrow.
We're going to have a chance to see it one more time, and watch as Rick Johnson, he pulls the ball in. He knows he's going to take the hit from Kevin Konar. Now watch as he goes down. He's got the ball tucked in. Well, you know, that's a great shot from our camera, guys, because the ball was a little loose going on the way down, and the official was right there who has a much better angle to see it than I do. Initially, it looked like the ground caused the fumble, but maybe they made a good call.
The great thing about sitting up here, Leaf, you can always change your mind. Down there, you don't get a chance, do you? McVeigh is back, so is Hopkins, and Jan Carinci ties it up once more.
And I'll tell you why. They've got Mel Bird and all those other guys that are about 5 seconds faster in the 100-yard dash.
Andy McVeigh for the Stampeders. McVeigh across the 40. Pretty good return to the 42. Tom Wiseman led the Lion tacklers. And now let's see what the Stampeders can do to get right back into the ball game. Johnson moved them effectively the last time he had possession of the ball prior to the fumble and the touchdown for BC.
Well, he's got a little better field position to work with now. The last few series, actually, the couple before, so deep in his own end. Now at the 41-yard line, a little easier room to maneuver.
Tough to give up 6 points for field position, though, isn't it?
Yep.
Time to throw for Johnson. Has a man open, intercepted almost. Mel Bird had his hands on that and had a pretty good chance at bringing it down. The pass intended for Emmanuel Tolbert.
Mel Bird made a great play. You know, he just kind of hid in the weeds and let Tolbert run free down the seam, and at the last second reacted. He knew where Johnson was going, read his eyes the whole way, and there comes Mel Bird. Should have had his 4th of the year.
He should have, shouldn't he? Toner coming in around behind almost had a chance to get his hands on it after Bird let it fall to the ground. No harm done. 2nd and 10 Calgary. This time right on the money for Tony Woodruff. Major gain for the Calgary Stampeders inside BC territory. 21-yard pickup Calgary.
That's a nice throw by Rick Johnson. He reads the coverage, 2nd and long. BC just plays a 4-deep zone where each guy has a quarter of the field, and Tony Woodruff finds the open spot, curls into it, makes a good catch on a nice throw.
Takes a pretty good hit at the end of it all, too, didn't he?
Sure did. That was Larry Crawford coming in there, but the good receivers, they know it's coming. They tuck it away. That's just part of the game.
1st and 10 Calgary. Johnson flares it out. Gary Allen. And Allen trapped as he gains 2 by Bird. Mel Bird.
Johnson complete to Gary Allen. He gets
That's a nice matchup to watch. Gary Allen out in the open field against a defensive back, and I'll tell you, Mel Bird won that one. He came up, and that's an outstanding tackle to hold him to a 1-yard gain.
A gain of 1 for Calgary. It's 2nd and 9 from the BC 46. 17-8. Lions lead the Stampeders early in the 2nd quarter. Pressure on Johnson, and he's down. Bird. He's having a day.
He really is. And he's knocking down balls, making tackles, and now he gets in and gets a sack. You know, he was an all-star in 1985, and, boy, he's off to an all-star year so far.
There are flags down, however, Leaf.
Boy, he really is having some first half, Mel Bird, but I think it's going to be all for naught. A little pushing downfield, and we'll let the referee sort it out.
It's a break for the Calgary Stampeders. Vespasiani will take that one.
We couldn't hear the call, but Keith Gooch and Larry Willis were kind of pushing and shoving going down the field, and I'm pretty sure Keith Gooch got the call.
Well, it is an automatic first down, so interference is the call. From the 31, Calgary first down. Johnson, right on the money for Larry Willis, number 89. A big gain inside the 15-yard line, 24 yards, first catch of the afternoon.
Well, when Johnson's getting good protection and time to throw, he's been on the money here in the second quarter. He gets to step up and a good delivery, and that's a great pattern by Larry Willis. He gets in behind Kevin Konar, and Johnson has to throw it high to get it over the linebackers and hope that his receiver can go up and get it. Larry Willis made a nice catch. You know, he's turned into be a pretty clutch receiver for the Stampeders, and that win over Saskatchewan made the big play, and now another nice catch here.
He has the ability to run after he's made the catch. Johnson to the end zone. And two receivers in the territory that time, Toner and Willis.
Willis ran the post on Keith Gooch, and he was all over him, and I think it's a good thing that ball was thrown away.
Second and 10. Calgary at the BC 13. 89, Larry Willis. 80, Tony Woodruff. Two new wide receivers in the Calgary Stampeders scheme. And the man they're trying to replace is Ray Alexander, who had such an outstanding season in '86. Johnson sees the pressure, gets it away. Short of the first down to Marshall Toner. Mel Bird covering on Toner. Now the fans at McMahon want the Stamps to go for it, but it's a long 2 yards. Maybe closer to 3.
A little pick play with Marshall Toner and Larry Willis, but Mel Bird fights through the pick, and I'm telling you, he's played well. I shouldn't have said he was lucky with those 3 interceptions last week. I think
he might have been tuned in at the opening of our show when you said he was a little lucky last week.
I've inspired him today. Well, here's a big gamble.
Third down and 2. Stampeders can get a first down without a touchdown. Johnson under pressure, evades it, touchdown! Larry Willis. The big gamble pays off as Willis comes back with a touchdown catch from Rick Johnson.
Well, he's turned out to be just a tremendous performer, Larry Willis, but the safety blitz is on with Mel Bird, and Gary Allen does a great job to pick it up. Rick Johnson gets away from it, hangs in. He knows he's going to get drilled by John Ulmer, but he fires a strike to Larry Willis, and the Stampeders are right back in this one.
Gutsy call.
Oh, yeah, I like it. I like it.
80-yard touchdown romp. So the Stampeders get back within 2, 16-15. The BC Lions still out at front in McMahon Stadium, Calgary. Back to a 2-point ball game at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. The Stampeders keep coming back. Larry Willis, the most recent touchdown, an impressive drive engineered by Rick Johnson to get the Stampeders within 2. After an 80-yard scoring drive, Johnson takes them 69 yards in 7 plays and finishes it off with a 5-yard pass to Larry Willis.
Well, I like Bob Vespasiani's courage to go for it on third down, and they are putting on a great show for the fans.
Mel Bird on the return. Bird stopped at the 37. Quarterback Roy DeWalt had a few pregame thoughts on the Lions' slow start last week.
Well, it was a bit of a sluggish start, and I think we were over anxious to really get something going that first half. We were just trying to rush for a little bit. Hopefully we'll be a little bit more disciplined this time and just stick with some of our basic stuff and try to get something going, and from there let it have a snowball effect. But last week we were a bit anxious, and we started off a bit slow, and hopefully we can get it going a little bit faster this time.
Roy DeWalt from the 39, first down. Anthony Parker, good move to get outside, and Parker's to midfield at the 50-yard line. Greg Peterson, the last line of defense, the Calgary safety, making the tackle. 17-yard pickup for Parker.
It's a great block he got from Jan Carinci downfield, too. Parker just coming out of the backfield, and Take a little swing pass and get some help from your friends. Big Jan's a good blocker.
Lions at the BC 54. First down. DeWalt to the far side for Ned Armour. Armour comes back inside and gains maybe 5. Peterson and Hall on the tackle for Calgary.
Peterson and Hall on the tackle.
Ned Armour a little shaken up on the play. Great first down calls by Roy DeWalt, though. He's getting some pretty good yardage. That time only 5 yards, but, you know, anytime you get the football into the hands of a guy like Ned Armour quickly, you know, he's got a chance to make a big play out of it.
They mark it a gain of 4, 2nd and 6. Armour seems to be a little shaken up, but he'll be back.
Scott Leckie, number 34, comes into the ball game and playing that wide receiver spot for Ned Armour.
DeWalt over the middle, complete to Jan Carinci. He's using his slot backs a little more effectively. Bernie Morrison on the tackle.
Well, Jan's doing it all today. He's making blocks for his teammates. He gets to kick off a couple of times and now finds a spot down the middle. And that's a good throw by Roy DeWalt. You know, a little wobbly, but, you know, he put it right into the open seam, and Jan Carinci made the nice catch. Unfortunately, it's going to come back.
Flags are down in the Lion backfield. We're still awaiting the official call from Ken Lazarek. It is against the Lions, and I don't think he signaled.
Well, it had to be a procedure or an offside because they only went back 5 yards.
It is 2nd down and 11. Lions right at midfield at the 55. Pressure for DeWalt. He got it away, and it's complete. Jim Sandusky, rather.
DeWalt complete to
He has the first down. 16 yards.
16 yards the pickup on the play. Ron Hopkins
Watch the pattern Jim Sandusky runs. He's going to accelerate, and then he breaks down, works back to the quarterback. And for Ronnie Hopkins, that's a tough pass pattern to try and cover. You don't want him to get by you deep. You just have to let him make the catch and come up and make sure you make a good tackle.
Big first down for the Lions now. Inside the Calgary 40 at the 39. DeWalt quickly for Ned Armour. Back in, and Armour gets away from 2 tackles. He's to the 30. Vince Goldsmith.
Timing has to be so good on those quick screens. That time Jan Carinci from his slot back spot just goes out as quickly as he can to try and get a quick block on Terry Irv in the corner. Armour tries to split the tacklers, and he's got 9 yards, and I think that's been the impressive thing for the BC Lions on this drive. And in this entire first half, they've had good yardage on first down plays.
Vince Goldsmith stopping Ned Armour short of a first down, but only by a yard. It is 2nd and 1. Lions. And easily for the first down, Anthony Parker.
Anthony Parker.
17-15, BC Lions leading the Stampeders. 5:05 till halftime.
You know, if there's one knock on the Stampeder front four is that maybe they aren't as big as they need to be to try and play the run. Vince Goldsmith and Harold Hallman are undersized as defensive linemen, but they're so quick, you know, sometimes they make up for it with their agility.
John Matthews and the Lions get a bit of a vacation after today's outing. Their next game isn't for better than a week. First and 10 Lions. DeWalt looking to the end zone. And the intended receiver at that time was Carinci.
Carinci, the intended receiver.
Well over his head.
2nd and 10 to the 26.
Rick Warman started the first 2 games of the '87 season for the Stampeders.
I think after last Saturday night in Edmonton, he's kind of happy he's right where he is right now.
He had a tough evening.
We're talking shell shock. They really did a number on him. But he will come back and get his completions in the CFL in '87. You wait.
His season stats: 34 receptions, 79 tries, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 43%. 2nd and 10 for DeWalt now. DeWalt to the corner, and he bounced it there. Pankratz had no chance. Pretty good coverage. Larry Hogue.
I'll tell you, this entire secondary of the Calgary Stampeders is a good one. They've been together for quite some time, with the exception of Terry Irvin. Now, he's been in the league for 11 years, but Larry Hogue, Richie Hall, Ronnie Hopkins, they've been around for a long time. They do a good job. Calgary Stampeders trying to put a little pressure on, running a stunt, but look at big John Blaine and Ian Sinclair at center. They just pick up Harold Hallman and push him back. That's that size factor. You know, John Blaine at 6'6", 290, and you get Harold Hallman at 240. That makes a big difference.
John Pankratz will hold for Louis Pasaglia from the 32. No mistake about it, Pasaglia gives the Lions a 5-point advantage on the Calgary Stampeders. 3 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Lots ahead, including our halftime show. Have a happy Canada Day from TSN. Bob Baziani has to be a little happy about the way the Stampeders have come back on a couple of occasions this afternoon.
That's a big game for him. You know, they're at the 500 mark, 1-1, and to stay in the hunt with BC and Winnipeg, these become pressure games, even though they're early in the year.
These two teams will meet 4 times this season. 3 of the games will be at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Last year, the Lions won 1. The Stampeders won 1 of these meetings, and neither team won at home. Jan Carinci will kick it off, and there's our line score to this point. Calgary with 14 points in the second quarter, and that's the story of a close football afternoon. Ron Hopkins. Hopkins across the 40 and into a sea of red shirts.
Ron Hopkins on the return. He gets 27 yards.
A 27-yard return for Hopkins.
Lecky on the stop. First down.
So pretty good field position for the Stampeders at the 41. They trail by 5. Johnson for Tolbert. For check.
Larry Willis, the intended receiver.
Willis was the intended receiver. Number 89.
Well, he was there, and he looked like he had the catch made, but he just juggled that ball going out of bounds, and it's an incompletion.
Number 3557.
I like this Larry Willis. You know, he's got some outstanding speed. He played previously with Denver, the National Football League, was injured and finally released when he came back, but you saw a good camera shot there that he did not have possession as he went out of bounds.
2nd and 10, Calgary. At the 41. Johnson with time. He's picked off. Nelson Martin. No return on the interception. Andre Francis, I should say, number 14.
Well, you have to like a guy like Andre Francis. Now, in the last series, Calgary ran a couple of hooks on him. They ran a couple of hooks on Andre Francis, and he was beaten on it. Now, Tony Woodruff ran a hook that time. Francis was waiting. He played around it. That's his 2nd interception.
So another turnover. The BC Lions send the offense on the field. We'll be back right after this. BC leading Calgary by 5, second quarter in Calgary. Not a bad ball game at McMahon Stadium this afternoon, and a great afternoon for it in Calgary. 3 minutes, 2 seconds till halftime, and it is the BC Lions with the offense on the field, leading by 5, 20-15 in the Calgary Stampeders. Stamps have come back a couple of times, but turnovers have hurt.
Yeah, they really have. The couple of interceptions by Andre Francis. He's played well, and there you see the story. 3 turnovers by the Stampeders, none yet by the BC Lions. BC has enjoyed good field position in this entire first half.
3rd turnover was for a touchdown, as John Ulmer carried it right into the end zone. DeWalt with the Lions, first down at their 54. Another completion for DeWalt. Anthony Parker coming out of the backfield, number 19.
That's a great feature of Roy DeWalt. He really uses his backs well out of the backfield. A few years ago, it was Keevan Jenkins. When John Henry White was healthy, it was him. And now it's Anthony Parker. And he slips out at the top of your screen, runs a nice little hook in between the linebackers, and it's a nice catch. And that's a great feature of Roy DeWalt, the way he uses everybody on that offense.
They'll measure this one.
Turn to page 28 of your game program.
And DeWalt takes advantage of
Your ad contains a special
A little extra time to chat with Greg Vavra, number 17, and Don Matthews on the sidelines. It is a first down for the BC Lions. Parker knew exactly where to stop.
Well, it was a good pass pattern, a good throw by DeWalt. Interestingly enough, he was drafted in 1980 by the Cleveland Browns as a running back. And he said, gosh, I don't want to be a running back. So he chose to sign as a free agent with the BC Lions and has never looked back. Backed up Joe Paupau for a couple of years, but it's been the starter ever since.
On first down, DeWalt over the middle for Jan Carinci.
DeWalt complete to Carinci.
Close to 5.
Yeah, he looked sharp today, Roy DeWalt. This is his second game, and he's had a chance to really get a feel for things. And just running those hook patterns over the middle. Calgary's getting the deep drop, but the great thing, he's getting such good yardage on first down that makes the offense so much easier.
Make it a second down and 3. Lions at the Calgary 40. Parker, tough running to the left side that time.
Anthony Parker.
How close does he leave?
Pretty close.
Gets a couple.
I think they're a little short. Up maybe a half a yard short. Quincy Williams, number 91, made the hit.
2:10 to go till halftime. It is the Lions by 5 at 20-15.
I don't think there's any question with this big offensive line and those two strong running backs, Ray Krause and Anthony Parker. Not much of a decision for Donnie Matthews.
It is less than a yard to go for the Lions. And they're inside Stampeder territory.
The Lions average almost 270 pounds across that offensive line. You'd think they'd be able to get a half a yard.
Krause that time, number 25, and it is a first down, BC. The drive continues with less than 2 minutes on the clock, 1:53.
Not surprising they follow big number 68, John Blaine, who's 290 pounds. He's been an All-Canadian, 83, 84, 85. I'd run behind him, too.
First carry for Ray Krause, and he has the first down.
Ray Krause is kind of the forgotten man in this BC Lion offense. You know, he had some great years with the Calgary Stampeders when he and Craig Ellis were in the same backfield together. Last year he played a couple of games, and now this year the injury to John Henry White gives him a starting position.
Krause had some injury problems. In 86, dislocated his elbow and didn't see a great deal of action. DeWalt has some pressure now. Can't get to his open man. Ray Krause.
Ray Krause, the intended receiver.
Well, that's what pressure does to you. You know, Roy DeWalt had to roll out and run for his life and kind of change everything, but he had net armor wide open downfield. He'd run a post pattern on Terry Irvin, and pressure can do so many great things for you. Harold Hallman was in there.
Great things expected of Hallman in his sophomore season, but after that rookie year, he's tough to top, I would think.
Well, you
Personable young guy.
Sure is. You just have to try and work a little harder.
2nd and 10, Lions. Calgary 25, or 35, I should say. Hopkins was covering on Sandusky, and they call it a catch. 11 yards for Sandusky on 2nd and 10. Big catch. 1:27 remaining till halftime.
Well, you know, they try and put some extra pressure on Roy DeWalt, and what happens then is you lock up man to man. Here's Sandusky running the out. It's an easy pass pattern because you have to respect his speed when you're bringing those linebackers. And often, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
This time, it did. Lions first down from the 25, DeWalt. For Krause once more, they've discovered Ray Krause all of a sudden. Mike Emery covering number 85.
Well, they've discovered Krause because that's what Calgary's forcing Roy DeWalt to do. They're dropping deep when they don't come with the blitz, and they sit back. Those linebackers, Morrison, Jeffers, and Williams, are getting such deep drops, 12 to 15 yards, that you have to throw underneath it, and that becomes puts Ray Krause and Anthony Parker into the light. They have to go underneath to those guys.
2nd and 6, Lions. Calgary 20-yard line. DeWalt has his man, Sandusky. Near the 10. Plenty for a first down. Hopkins victimized once more.
Yeah, well, you know, you're on the blitz, and you're one-on-one with probably one of the most feared receivers in the league, and you can't just come up and play him so tight that you let him get in deep, and they're just going down the field on that out pattern.
48 seconds till halftime. Lions with a first down at the 10. Wide open. Touchdown, Jan Carinci. There are flags down at the 10 at the line of scrimmage. Larry Hogue covering on Carinci. He made it to the end zone.
Well, this one's coming back, and not sure how they're going to call it, but Ned Armour threw a pretty good pick for Jan Carinci.
Eugene Beliveau for Calgary going into the game. He's injured. Beliveau, 8th year, St. X.
He was originally traded for Mike McTagg, who went to the Alouettes, who's now with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And, you know, in Eugene's career, he's had a couple of interceptions, and that's got to be a highlight for a defensive lineman. I think it's a highlight just to catch it. I believe what they'll do now is move Quincy Williams, number 91, into that defensive line and bring Garrett Dahl into the game.
He's the backup linebacker, Garrett Dahl. So the Lions caught for holding, nullifying the touchdown to Carinci. And penalties have cost BC 43 yards and a touchdown on that last play. It'll be 1st and 20, Lions. And the ball at the 20-yard line. DeWalt 3 plays to get it to the end zone. Batted down. Quincy Williams, 91. And Darcy Kopp was in there, number 32. He's an extra defensive back. I think Kopp might have got a hand on it.
Well, Quincy Williams didn't really get any pressure on the quarterback, but, you know, if you can't get in there, get those big mitts up there, and something good may happen. He knocked the ball down, and now it's 2nd and 20 for Roy DeWalt, working out of the shotgun.
34 seconds to go till halftime. DeWalt gets some pressure. Fires, touchdown, Jan Carinci. So Carinci gets to the end zone anyway. And I don't see any flags down this time. Carinci injured as he was hit by Hogue, number 14. So after a big defensive play for Calgary's Quincy Williams, DeWalt comes right back out of the shotgun and fires the touchdown.
Now watch how Roy DeWalt hangs in. He knows he's going to get drilled. Carinci hasn't even made his final break, but he gets inside the middle safety, number 24, Greg Peterson, and kind of got the knee caught a little bit there as he did that spin move, but what a super catch, and give Roy DeWalt full marks for hanging in and throwing the football before Carinci even made that final cut.
Big pressure on Roy DeWalt, but he evaded it.
Well, he knows it's coming. There's Lamont Jeffers. They all come in and get the hands in his face, but that's why Roy DeWalt's such a tremendous quarterback. He can stand in there, take the hits. He's a big, strong guy himself.
If we can pick up what happened to Carinci. He pirouetted a little bit.
I'll tell you what, when the knee injuries, some of the ones that I've seen, some can be huge hits, and the other ones you can be just doing the most simple thing, and something goes in your knee. That didn't look like it was an unusual position for his knee to be in, but geez, you just never know.
Good to see that he's up and getting up under his own power. Bill Raquel, the BC athletic therapist, has Carinci up and on the sidelines. Carinci will remember a touchdown from the injury that he suffered on McMahon Stadium turf this afternoon. It is the BC Lions out in front of Calgary, 26-15. Make that 27-15 as Lou Pasaglia has missed only one convert in his CFL career.
20 yards to Carinci. Score with 30 seconds remaining.
Well, I'm sure Donnie Matthews was worried coming into this game that his offense might be a little sluggish last week. They really weren't that great in the first half, but boy, got a good, solid first half of football.
And the drive led by Roy DeWalt covered 56 yards in 10 plays. Lions ate up 2:32 on the clock, and they ended off with DeWalt's 20-yard touchdown pass to Jan Carinci.
That's a tough one to swallow, too, if you're the Calgary defense, because you got the penalty, you've got it back in a 2nd and 20, you know, and you kind of think that maybe you could come up and play it a little tighter, but
2nd and 20. The Lions had one shot at it.
Yeah.
And DeWalt made it good.
Boy, it's frustrating for a defense.
Pasaglia will kick it off this time with Carinci injured on that last play. Andy McVeigh. McVeigh gets back and gets rolling again. Could have been disastrous, but McVeigh took advantage, grabbed a couple of yards that maybe he didn't deserve. So with 25 seconds left in the first half, the Stampeders trail by 12.
And Rick Johnson's the kind of guy that I'd be very surprised if he didn't try and get something here. He's got the wind at his back for a J.T. Hay field goal attempt. He really only has to go about 20, 25 yards to get him in position.
Stampeders from their 36. First down for Johnson. On the sidelines, complete to Larry Willis, number 89.
That's a great catch by Larry Willis. They've run this pattern a few times. Last time he bobbled the football, but this time he took a deep down against Keith Gooch, get him turned around, work to the sidelines. He does an outstanding job to keep his feet in bounds. Look at that, perfect.
First down, Stampeders, 20 seconds remaining on the clock till a half. Johnson shy of midfield as he swings it out for Petros. Petros to the BC 50. Bernie Jones over to make the stop after a 6-yard gain.
You know, people think that's an easy pass to throw. It's one of the more difficult passes when you got a guy swinging out. You've got no angle to throw him the football. And that time Johnson had Petros had to turn around to catch it, or he might have been able to get a few more yards.
Timeout on the field as Bob Vespasiani talks to his quarterback, Rick Johnson.
Well, they get 1.5, and Vespasiani said we better take it now because old Tim didn't get out of bounds. 14 seconds left. Time for a couple more plays and, well, 5 more yards, and they've 10 more yards, I guess, and they've got a legitimate chance for J.T. Hay to have a field goal attempt.
Stampeder timeout.
Stamps need the right play here. Matthews a very relaxed guy these days.
Got a great team.
Reason to be happy, no doubt.
Joe Galat's been getting him some great players.
The toaster may pop up in BC one of these days. Johnson. Incomplete. Woodruff, the intended receiver. Francis covering there, but flags are down in the backfield.
The fans don't like that. They thought Francis was committing a little interference, but that was just a super effort on his part. He's had a great first half.
That Lions secondary has played well. Bird has played well. This one going against Calgary. The indication would be holding.
Holding charged against the Stamps. Second down over again. 14 yards to go.
That hurts Calgary. 2nd and 14. Spin off another 4 seconds from the clock. So getting the end zone on the field goal or the touchdown really comes down to one play now. Johnson goes for it for Tolbert, and Tolbert got turned around.
Tolbert, the intended receiver.
6 seconds remain. Johnson stays in for the one last play, 3rd and 14. What can you do here, Lee? Hail Mary.
Well, it just depends on what kind of formation they line up. They're not really in a Hail Mary kind of formation. He's got 6 seconds on the clock. He wants to make sure he uses all the time.
Johnson has to scramble out of there. Time has elapsed officially on the scoreboard. He fired upfield for Woodruff. The gun. And that's the first half at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Calgary Stampeders, a couple of turnovers costing them dearly. They trail the BC Lions by 12 at the half. But there's lots more ahead on Canada Day on TSN.
Welcome back to Toronto, everybody. Let's tell you about some of the other CFL games this weekend. On Saturday, Toronto will be at Taylor Field in Regina against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. On Sunday, the Edmonton Eskimos, they'll be at Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton for the Tiger Cats home opener in this 1987 season. And this Friday, well, the Ottawa Roughriders will be in Winnipeg, and it'll be like old home week for Riders GM Paul Robson and head coach Fred Glick. And joining us now from his office in Ottawa is Rough Riders General Manager Paul Robson. You really must have mixed emotions. I mean, you spent 20 years in Winnipeg. You're going home.
Well, it will be a little different. It was a little different watching Winnipeg and Toronto when you look at those receivers and how sharp Tommy Clements looks this early in the season. So if there's any emotion, it may be a little fear.
Realize it's a business, Paul, but how do you separate yourself emotionally from being Riders GM to having been in Winnipeg?
Well, it was so easy in Winnipeg. I just felt I knew everybody, and if you needed to get something done, you knew the right phone calls to make, and you got things done. So it's taking a little while to work through the Ottawa system here, but the people are very keenly supportive of their football club, and I think all of that has been overcome with really the amount of work that's had to be done since January.
You opened up with a great start as you beat Hamilton in your CFL opener last weekend, and you're going to have a couple of surprises, I gather, for Winnipeg. You'll have James Hood in the lineup. You got him from Montreal, and then Cedric Minter will be in your backfield. Got him from Toronto.
Yes, both Hood and Minter will play. We certainly feel that Hood strengthens our game. I mean, he only led the East last year in receptions. We're very fortunate to have him. Cedric Minter has looked good in practice. I've always been a great admirer of Cedric's, and I think he'll help our running game. So those two people will play.
Paul Robson, thank you, and all the best to you.
Thank you. Happy Canada Day.
And what a holiday game they've got going at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. The Yankees, Blue Jays tied 1-1 now on the top of the ninth. A record crowd of more than 47,000 on hand. When we come back, the CFL Notebook with Peter Wise. The Calgary second half action. Here are John and Lee.
The halftime score at McMahon Stadium in Calgary, a 12-point difference between the BC Lions and the Calgary Stampeders. A rather entertaining first half of football. Stampeders came back to get within a couple of points twice during the first half, but the BC Lions just kept pouring it on, and that's the result. 27-15 score at halftime. Leaf, any significant areas of the game that you'd like to talk about before we show some highlights?
Well, John, I think the biggest thing is that the BC Lions are so good offensively. You know, there was talk that they were sluggish last week. Well, they're not sluggish this week because anytime, we're going to show it later in our highlight package, but anytime you can convert 2nd and 20 for a touchdown, I mean, you know you're having a good day offensively.
Well, that's the game breaker for the Calgary Stampeders so far. That's the final touchdown, but let's look at the early scoring in this one. And it's BC.
Well, they get off to a good start. A nice play-action fake, and Roy DeWalt to John Pankratz. That was his first catch of 1987, and, of course, it resulted in a touchdown, a good pattern on Richie Hall.
Now, the Calgary Stampeders come back and get within 3. Johnson to Emmanuel Tolbert. We talked about this combination at the outset.
Well, they got the great matchup that they wanted. Emmanuel Tolbert on Nelson Martin. Nelson Martin doesn't have near the speed to stay with Tolbert, and that was an easy touchdown and a great throw by Rick Johnson.
And then the final touchdown first half, the one you were just talking about on 1st and 20, the Lions, or 2nd and 20, the Lions had one chance to make it go.
Well, give Roy DeWalt credit. We said this before. He stands in, he takes the hit, he throws before Carinci even makes the break, and Jan makes a super catch. And, you know, I'm so happy to see him playing for the BC Lions because with the Toronto Argonauts, he just didn't get a great chance to start. Now he's a starter and a big part of that offense.
The Lions opened a 10-1 lead in the first quarter, and Calgary came back to close within 3 in the second. So Calgary has a big second quarter. The Lions then come back to take the 12-point lead. In first downs, dead even. Total yardage, the advantage goes to the BC Lions, and in net yardage to the Calgary Stampeders at 201. The turnovers favoring the British Columbia Lions, and time of possession favoring BC as well. What do the Calgary Stampeders have to do, Leaf, to get right back into this match?
Well, I think they have to play good, solid defense, John, and try and eliminate those turnovers. Those were really the killers. Andre Francis with those 2 interceptions. But I think if you start off saying we've got to play solid defense, try and shut BC down, and then hope our offense can come back and get us in the game. And I'll tell you, that number 16 you just saw, Rick Johnson, he's the guy that can do it. Had a pretty good first half, 12 of 21 for 150 yards. 158 yards, 2 TDs, but those 2 interceptions were really the killer.
Turnovers hurting the Calgary Stampeders. Roy DeWalt in the first half.
Roy DeWalt in the first half, good on 18 of 25 for 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Johnson good on 12 of 25, 158 yards, also 2 touchdowns. But the bottom line there, DeWalt didn't throw any interceptions in the first half.
Yeah, what a great afternoon in Calgary for a football game. You know, they had the great support here last year, and the fans have come out again this afternoon, most likely to see Rick Johnson in his first start. Just a super afternoon for football. Canada Day at McMahon Stadium.
Lou Pasaglia will kick off for the BC Lions to get the second half of football underway at McMahon this afternoon. Stampeders need a good return and to get back into this ball game quickly. Second half is underway. That's Hopkins. Ron Hopkins trying the outside. He's got good speed. Turns it up and a good return as Hopkins gets back near midfield. Mel Bird making the tackle. Hopkins almost got away.
Mel Bird makes a great play because you can't let Ronnie Hopkins get to the outside. He's got too much speed. He shut him off and turned him back to the inside where you get a little help. But Calgary Stampeders have great field position at their own 53-yard line to start this third quarter.
23-yard return. And the Stamps begin at their own 53. Johnson at the controls. Quarterback comparison. Less than 40 yards separating the two. Allen fumbles. Lions have recovered. And a costly turnover. As Konar comes up with it for the BC Lions. Fifth turnover of the game for the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, it's Greg Stuman that's going to knock the ball loose, but I don't really think he hit Allen that hard. He might have stripped the ball loose, but what an awful break for the Stampeders to start this third quarter. A fumble that maybe shouldn't have occurred. Kevin Konar's alert makes the play, and once again, BC has another opportunity.
It's a very telling story. 5-0 in that department. Lions first down. Calgary 51. Ned Armour at the 40, just inside. Greg Peterson forcing Armour out.
Taken out of bounds by Peterson after an 11-yard pickup.
Looked like a bit of a coverage breakdown by the Calgary Stampeders secondary. Ned Armour, for that short a pass, should not be that wide open. Greg Peterson, the middle safety, has to come a long way to make the tackle.
First down for the BC Lions, now inside. The Calgary 40 at the 39. DeWalt all kinds of time, and wide open, Leckie. Scott Leckie. Leckie. Great run after the catch. Greg Peterson stopping him, but not before he got to the 15.
DeWalt's pass complete to Leckie.
24 yards on that reception by young Scott Leckie, getting a chance to play for Jan Carinci, who hurt his knee on that touchdown reception. But, you know, that was probably the fifth guy that Roy DeWalt looked to. He looked and looked and looked, and finally, there's Leckie signaling, I'm open, I'm open. He hits him 24 yards later. He's got BC in great shape.
Early in the third quarter, the Lions leading by 12. Ned Armour inside the 5. Terry Irvin to make the tackle. John Matthews likes what he sees as the Lions try to add a 12-point lead.
Well, he should like it. Terry Irvin's got to come up and play a little tighter in that situation. You can't let a guy get inside you on a post pattern down inside the 10-yard line, and that was too easy for Ned Armour to make that catch.
First and goal to go for the BC Lions from the 3. Not that time for Anthony Parker.
What good penetration early by number 95, Lamont Jeffers. He got into that backfield, made Parker make an initial cut that he didn't want to, and then he got some help and good defense to stop him down on the goal line.
Lions can do it a yard at a time. They picked up one there. It is now second and goal from the 2. DeWalt looks to throw this time. And he's hauled down. DeWalt decided to run himself and got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe half a yard further. Goldsmith getting to DeWalt from behind.
Well, that's a huge play in this ball game, I think, John, because had BC Lions taken that fumble recovery by Kevin Konar and just taken it downfield so easily and scored, I think it could have just really taken the wind out of Calgary's sails. But Vince Goldsmith really hustling, and Roy DeWalt's the fast guy to bring down from behind. He does it. They'll settle for a possible Lou Pasaglia field goal attempt, but I think that's a great job by the defense to tighten it up.
Good point, Leaf. Pasaglia, perfect this afternoon, his longest from 43.
Oh, he's a smooth kicker. Watch this stroke here. He's just so fluid.
30-14 28-15. BC Lions out in front of the Calgary Stampeders after Lou Passaglia's short field goal. And the Lions have doubled the count of the Calgary Stampeders now. A 15-point deficit facing Calgary early in the third at McMahon. Lots of time left in the third quarter for the BC Lions to add to their total. They've fallen behind by 15. The Calgary Stampeders leading Calgary 30-15. Jamie Terrace, number 23. He played running back in high school league, changed to an offensive lineman when he went to Western for 4 years, and now he's back as a runner again with the BC Lions. One of the reasons that he became a offensive lineman was that he had a pretty good fullback at Western at that time.
Blake Marshall, and Jamie Terrace was the second All-Star team offensive lineman in 1985 and 86, and the BC Lions recognized that blocking ability and drafted him as a fullback. Great on those special teams.
Andy McVeigh for the Calgary Stampeders on the return. He's across the 40, near the 45. Walter Ballard leading the Lion tacklers. BC has scored 3 times on 3 turnovers. 56-yard touchdown, one of them. Fumble in the end zone. And that was John Ulmer's touchdown for BC.
Well, it's like the game that you and I did last week in Toronto, John, with the Argonauts and the Blue Bombers, and it was just the turnovers that made the difference in that game, and today's the same thing.
Stamps have turned it over 5 times. In traffic along the sidelines, Larry Willis can't bring it in. Flags are down. Stampeders caught for holding. Rob Smith. Lions will decline.
Calgary number 54, decline. Second down.
Holding charged against the Stampeders.
Oh, Rob Smith, we're going to center him out here. Boy, he's been with a lot of clubs. Montreal, Toronto, BC, Calgary. Got that suitcase ready all the time.
There's a suitcase. Smith played a little hockey, too, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
On 2nd and 10. Good work by Johnson. As he gets it to Tolbert on the end around.
Emmanuel Tolbert on the reverse.
I'll tell you, he didn't fool number 28, Larry Crawford. He just sat back at his inside safety spot, was waiting for E.T., and although there was a lot of feet flying and a lot of arms waving, he didn't get too far.
E.T. did go the distance for a gain of 6 and short of the first.
Now, Larry Crawford, 28, does a super job here. Force him back to the inside where you know you're going to get some help. Gives it that goalie kick with his left foot.
So Calgary will kick it away. Glenn Harper at his 35. Jim Sandusky fields it right at the goal line. Good kick for Harper. Not much running room for Sandusky, who gets back to the 10. Stopped there by Greg Peterson. 12-yard return after a 62-yard Glenn Harper punt.
Well, what a scare the BC Lions had when Jim Sandusky decided he was going to play his option out last year. He almost signed with the New York Jets, but at the last minute decided he would maybe have a longer career to come back to BC, and boy, are they glad he did. Last week, a super effort. Today, some good catches. He just runs so... His pass patterns are so good and so precise. He's a tough guy to cover.
Lion first down. BC 10. Parker
carries.
Not much that time. Well, maybe 5.
He's got 5 yards. 2nd and 5.
10:06 to play, third quarter.
I think that last defensive series for the Stampeders should give them some kind of a lift. Just when it appeared as though BC would score a touchdown, they held them to 3 points, and now they have a great opportunity on 2nd and 5 to force the BC Lions to punt and get that offense back on the field in good shape.
And throw out a pretty good Harper punt.
Yeah. You need to make a big play here, though.
DeWalt has to scramble. He'll have the first down at the 22. They let him out.
Roy DeWalt, Edison carries himself.
Well, you have to like the athletic talents of Roy DeWalt. You know, there was nothing available there, and he scrambled around, and he's a good runner. You know, he waited as long as he could to try and throw the football, because that's, of course, what he'd like to do. But you see there, 109 yards last year. He doesn't like to run with it, but on a necessity, he will, and he picks up a very much-needed first down.
Key first down for the Lions.
Well, you get some breathing space now out over the 20.
From the 22. Anthony Parker once more, and look at the Stampeders around him. Goldsmith is there.
Of course, John, this is what we thought they might do in the first quarter, establish that running game. They didn't. They came out throwing, and now, of course, with a nice 15-point lead, would love to be able to establish that running game.
Ralph is stumbling this afternoon along with Calgary at times.
I tell you what, I like Ralph. He's got character, and win or lose, Ralph's always here at McMahon Stadium putting on a great show. Fans love him.
He's got your shorts on.
How'd he get those?
It's a new outfit. 2nd and 8, flags are down. DeWalt's procedure called as DeWalt finds Sandusky. Sandusky all the way, not quite. Stopped inside the 20. A long foot race. Richie Hall finally tracks Sandusky down.
Well, that's a great super pass to Jim Sandusky, and I don't know how the officials are going to call this.
Offside, Calgary 78, decline.
Well, they said Goldsmith jumped, but it appeared as though one of the BC Lion receivers jumped as well, and Jim Sandusky's got himself a huge gain on a pretty simple-looking pass pattern, but he just got away from Ronnie Hopkins.
A 68-yard run for Jim Sandusky, who's had things going well so far this afternoon. Prior to the game, some thoughts from Jim.
Well, I think right now we're going to establish the run and get that going. I think our offense in a whole is a little bit different than last year. I think we're going to try to nickel and dime some teams before we go long ball first. Last year we'd always go for the home run first and then try to get the underneath stuff. So we're going to try to work a little bit and get our running game going and really diversify our whole offense.
Sandusky had the game plan figured out pretty well at the outset. But then there's that 68-yard long bomb, which is not nickel and dime stuff.
Well, the pass pattern really was, but he made such a great run after he caught the football. Last week, 139 yards. This week, already 144. I mean, we're talking a major threat now in the CFL.
2nd down, 11 to go for the Lions. DeWalt looks for the touchdown. Intercepted in the end zone. Hopkins has it for Calgary. Big play for the Calgary Stampeders. Ron Hopkins comes up with the interception. Now we'll see if that can get Calgary turned around.
Well, that's just a great interception by Ronnie Hopkins, too, because Sandusky runs an out and up. Hopkins is right with him. He has his second option of the year, and hopefully that'll get the Stampeders turned around.
The big play by Jim Sandusky. And Sandusky made a lot out of a good reception, but he ran it a long way.
I think you saw at the bottom of your screen, Vince Goldsmith did jump offside, but, you know, you win some and you lose some. Old Ronnie Hopkins, number 15, gambled. He cut in front of Sandusky, did not make the play. But you know what? He gets it back. He wins on this one. Well, we're going to show it to you later, but he gets a nice interception in the end zone, and Rick Johnson's got to get something going.
Stampeders with a first down at the 25 after the interception. Nowhere to go for Allen that time.
Gary Allen.
Sure.
Met by Kodar.
Okay, Roy DeWalt wants to finish off this drive, going to Jim Sandusky again on the out and up. Ronnie Hopkins is right there. He turns around at the perfect time, makes the interception. So you win some and you lose some.
2nd and 10, Stampeders at their 25. Hopkins interception, the first turnover going Calgary's way this afternoon. Johnson to Petros, and Petros might be short of the first down. I think he is. He needed the 35-yard line. Kevin Konar up with a big defensive play for BC.
Oh, that's great defense. You know, what you want to do on 2nd and 10 is keep all the receivers in front of you if it's possible. And keep those passes short, let the receiver try and run for that first down and react to it. BC did a great job, and they come up a couple of yards short.
On 3rd and 2, Harper will kick it away for Calgary. Sandusky deep for the Lions. Sandusky taking it on the run. Dragged down at the 42.
42-yard punt by
Greg Peterson, 24, making the tackle. Joe Galat, the general manager of the British Columbia Lions, joins us up at our broadcast location here this afternoon. Joe, we want to know about the toaster. When is he going to pop up in BC?
Well, he's been there, Dave. That's a good word, pop up. But he's been working out with us. We just felt that he didn't know enough about what we were doing and to fit into the lineup. But he'll be in their next game, which is on the 18th.
Joe, you spent so many years in Montreal before you came to the BC Lions. What's the biggest difference between the two organizations?
Well, I think the talent of the Canadian players that we have in BC. You just take a look at what's going on. We've had some injuries. Jackson down with an injury, and John Ulmer in there playing really well. I think our offensive line has done a super job. The guys like Jim Mills, John Blaine, Gerald Roper, Ian Sinclair, you just don't see that many good, solid football players in the Montreal situation.
For Crowther, a gain of 8 yards. It'll be 2nd and 10, British Columbia. The Lions leading 30-15. We'll get back to Joe in just a second.
What'd I say?
Parker has the first down. Anthony Parker. He's in for a big year, Joe.
Well, he certainly is, John. What he's done to our offense, he's given us that dimension. He can catch the ball. He's a good blocker and a solid runner.
Tell us about Beach Blanket Bingo you're having out there in BC. When's that coming up?
Well, on the 25th, we play a Saturday at 5 o'clock. So at about 1 o'clock, we're going to have a beach party right outside the stadium.
And I know you're going to fly me out there as honorary chairman of the beach party, are you not, Joe?
Well, Leaf, I think you have a chance to win the bikini contest, so we're going to get you there.
Thanks, Joe, for joining us. Here's DeWalt in trouble and dropped at the 45. Vince Goldsmith.
Joe,
they've made it through.
I want to thank Joe for stopping by and continued good success with the BC Lions. You got a super organization and a great football club.
Well, thanks a lot, Leaf. I think it's a great year for the CFL. We've seen a lot of scoring.
And a few sacks this afternoon as well as the Stampeders lead in that department. The Lions lead in turnovers. Pressure on Roy DeWaltz, courtesy of Vince Goldsmith. This down is 2nd and 20. DeWalt from the shotgun with lots of time to throw over the middle and fired it into the turf for Anthony Parker.
Intended for Parker. It'll be 3rd and 20, Lions.
So the Stampeder defense holds another quarterback sack. Time for the offense to take over, Leaf. That wasn't quite the problem they had on Saturday in Edmonton. The defense was...
Yeah, the defense was playing pretty well here in the 3rd quarter, but Rick Johnson's really got to try and establish something. You know, BC's a tough defense to work against, but Johnson's going to have to try and figure out some way to get to Emmanuel Tolbert, maybe Marshall Toner, the two inside guys. I think that's where they can have some success.
This is Richie Hall. Did they draw a flag?
You know, John, that's a super play by Richie Hall. He knows he's going to get the no yards penalty, even if he fumbles, so he takes the gamble, and it's going to be 15 more yards.
So the Calgary Stampeders try and come back. They trail it by 15.
No yards.
Fully upset.
Well, let's see if the Calgary Stampeders can get back into this football afternoon in their home park, McMahon. They trail by 15, 30-15. Good field position to begin here. After the no yards call, the Stampeders first down at the 51. Johnson with time to throw over the middle for Tim Petros. And Petros lost the ball, but I think they'll rule it dead prior to the fumble, Kevin Konar, who's played well.
Well, once again, as he has had to do here in the third quarter, Rick Johnson taking the underneath pass patterns, and that means it'll be Gary Allen and Tim Petras out of the backfield. BC on first down in any situations where they're not blitzing or getting deep drops, and you have to go underneath the coverage, but that's okay a first down if you're getting 8 yards like they just did.
2nd and 2. Gary Allen. And I don't know, Lee.
Not even close. Rick Klass and Benny Jones, they got great penetration initially against that offensive line of the Stampeders, and I'm sure Gary Allen is going to come up at least a couple of yards short. So decision time for Bob Vespasiani. He trails by 15.
2 minutes, 33 seconds left to go in the third quarter. There's lots of time for the Stampeders, but they have to get a few points up on the board.
Well, it looks as though they're going to go for it.
They gambled before and won and scored a touchdown.
That's right.
Third down, a long 2. Johnson will throw it and gets rid of it quickly. It's intercepted by the Lions. This is Omer, number 76, 1 touchdown already. Can he make it 2? How about that? John Omer, an interception return, but there is a flag down. A 59-yard run.
Pass by Johnson, 61 yards.
Little clipping likely detected out there. Johnson dejected. Omer happy. The interception will stand.
Yeah, on the interception, Mel Bird clipped Rick Johnson, the quarterback, and they're going to bring it back. But regardless, BC has the football. John Ulmer's been a real opportunist this afternoon with that touchdown early in the game, and now a ball that I'm really not sure where Rick Johnson was throwing it to.
Referee Ken Lazarick from Winnipeg sorting out the details of the penalty on the field. Johnson dejected on the sidelines and phoning home.
Well, you know, it's tough. You've got second and 2 or 2nd and 3, and you can't make it on the ground. You know you're in trouble.
Blocking from the rear. BC. First down.
Well, that was number 10, Mel Bird, and he cut back on Rick Johnson. Now, I really don't know where he's throwing. I think he was trying to go over the top to Larry Willis on Keith Gooch, but the ball just kind of slipped out of his hand and right into Ulmer's.
You see Johnson go down. There was the clip just out of the picture, but Johnson went sprawling. So the Lions have a first down on the 6th turnover of the afternoon going in their favor. Anthony Parker. Stopped by Goldsmith. John Ulmer. Great Canadian football tradition in the family.
Yeah, his dad, Ed, was just a super player for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. There's Rick Johnson explaining what happened, and I quite simply think the ball slipped out of his hand because the only guy in the area was Larry Willis, and he was out wide working on Keith Gooch. Yeah, he's shaking his head. I can't believe I did that.
For Parker, a gain of 2. This is 2nd and 8. Lions at the Calgary 50. To Waltz. Just a little too far for Parker that time.
The nice thing about Roy DeWalt, though, I mean, he didn't complete that pass, but he read the coverage so well. He saw the blitz coming, and he had Parker one-on-one with the middle safety, Greg Peterson. That's the guy you have to go against, and DeWalt recognized it, picked it out, and although he didn't complete it, he's just a tremendous reader of defenses.
Just over a minute to go in the third quarter. It is BC leading Calgary 30-15. Pasaglia at his 45.
Has to be frustrating for a guy like Rick Johnson, who had such a tremendous year last year, well over 4,000 yards passing, to come back and in your first game, you know, your timing just can't be right. You know, you haven't played against a live defense, and you haven't faced a pass rush.
Violation, BC number 5.
Got to be difficult for Rick Johnson, and very frustrating as you saw his facial expression on the sidelines.
Too long getting it into play against Pasaglia and the Lions, so they'll move it back. That 20-second clock just ran down. So Pasaglia now at the 40. Nice kick. Richie Hall.
45-yard punt by
Paul Nastasiuk leading the Lion tacklers.
Richie Hall gets 13.
All 5'6", 160 pounds of Richie Hall. He's fearless on those punt returns, you know, where he cuts it up through those seams.
You know, Leaf, I think Johnson might be trying a little bit too hard. I think he might have let the situation of his injury and not playing in the first 2 games of the season get to him a little bit, bother him a little bit. And he might be just trying a little bit too hard this afternoon.
Well, he's such a competitor, you know, and he wants to win so badly and win for the people in Calgary because he really enjoys being in this city that maybe he's just trying to do a little too much.
On the roll this time, Johnson takes himself for the first down, or very close to it. Kevin Konar dragged him down. Konar got him just as he was hitting the first down marker, but I think he might be very close.
That's nice play action, too, on first down, and Johnson had lots of time once he rolled out to throw the football. Super coverage downfield by Keith Gooch. And once you get outside that containment, though, things start to happen. You either can run or throw. That time Johnson ran the football, easy first down.
Stampeders from the 34. Should be the last play, third quarter. Johnson over the middle, has his man. That's Willis. Still going, Willis to the 50 of the BC Lions. There is a flag down.
Calgary number 54.
Well, that's Rob Smith again, and that's a big penalty this time. Second time for Smith, and that was a big play.
Yeah, you kind of get the feeling things aren't going your way when you finally get a well-executed offensive play and you bring it back for another holding call.
Instead of first down at near the BC 50, Stampeders are looking at first down, 20 yards to go, inside their 30 at the 29. So the Lions can just lay back on this one. First and 20, and Johnson is down. Bernie Jones led the BC sack attack. That's the second time they've made it through to Johnson this afternoon. And that is the final play of the third quarter, with the BC Lions protecting the 15-point lead that they held going third quarter. Ahead of the fourth quarter, lots of problems for Bob Vespasiani and the Stampeders. First play of the fourth quarter. Larry Willis, the intended receiver, on second down and 30. And we'll have to take you back and show you this one.
It's a tough situation to be second and 20. Not too many plays in the playbook that have that one designed for them. And Rick Johnson throws a good strike downfield, but unfortunately Marshall Toner, number 76, could not come up with the catch. Had he made it, he would have had a first down.
So the Stampeders turn it over on downs. Glenn Harper. Jim Sandusky at the 50. Sandusky's had a great day. Turned that into a pretty good 12-yard punt return, stopped by Larry Hogue. There's where it stands right now. The Lions by 15. Only one scoring play in the third quarter. A 9-yard Louis Pasaglia field goal, and there's the statistical story. In total yards, it is the BC Lions 314 to 244 for Calgary. Net yardage 307 to 228. The turnovers, the big red 6 down there, doesn't look very good beside Calgary.
Yeah, that's the tough one. You can't give up the ball against a team like BC. You know, BC really hasn't dominated this game, but there's turnovers for the Killers.
Sandusky. Another first down for the Lions inside the 40 at the 35-yard line.
14 yards to pick up.
14-yard pickup.
Well, we said this before, but he's so precise in those pass patterns. He is like a Brian Kelly, only a little faster, and completely turned Terry Irvin around. Another great day for Sandusky. 8 receptions, gives him 13 on the season.
The interesting thing about the BC Lions, a lot of people talked about Merv Fernandez missing from the lineup. Don Matthews prefers to look at this season without Fernandez as being able to have a little more balanced attack. Running as well with Anthony Parker.
Well, that's not all nice and well to say that, but I'll take Mervin any day. Yeah, he was great.
He was.
But it was Sandusky and Armour who were the receivers for the Lions when they won the Grey Cup in '85.
That's correct. Ned Armour had a big game in that one. He had a couple of touchdowns in that 1985 Grey Cup game against the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
2nd down and 6 to go. Lions. Stampeder 32. DeWalt dragged down from behind. Quincy Williams, number 91 for the Stampeders, getting through.
Yeah, and that'll go as a sack, too, because he didn't get back to the line of scrimmage.
And that is number 5 for Calgary this afternoon. So they have done well getting through to DeWalt.
6 yards to go.
You know, I think they've played pretty well defensively this afternoon, John, and they've got the good pressure. 5 sacks is a good day against that BC offensive line, because that's a good group in there.
The sack forces Passaglia into another field goal attempt, this from 39. Right within Passaglia's range, and make it 33-13 for the BC Lions and the Stampeders now. It is a Stampeder afternoon of offensive miscues and turnovers. Calgary has a long way to go to catch up to BC. 12 minutes, 34 seconds left to play in the football afternoon in Calgary. There's the line scores. We have it right now. BC up front 10-1 first quarter. 17-14 as Calgary stormed back in the second with 14 points. And then one field goal for the Lions in the third and one to get the fourth quarter underway here. So Passaglia hasn't missed all day. And the end result 33-15 as it stands right now. Marshall Toner, number 76. He missed the draft in 1986 and rode around asking for a couple of tryouts in the Canadian Football League. He found a job in Calgary.
Well, hard to understand that he was a Nestle All-Canadian in 1985, had been an All-Star a couple of years, and no team thought enough of him to draft him. He wrote letters to all the teams, and Bud Riley answered one of those letters, brought him in for a tryout, and the rest is history. He's their starting slot back.
Hopkins watches it roll out of bounds.
Boy, he's taking a big chance there, because any BC Lion can come down and recover that for a touchdown. Marshall Toner, the fellow we're just talking about, involved a little scuffling match with Scott Leckie. But really, I find it surprising when a guy's an All-Canadian and doesn't even get chosen in the 6th or 7th round, and you know, has to write letters to clubs, and finally Bud gives him a tryout and he makes the team.
Says something about how much a guy wants to play football when he does come in and make the team. There's no
Boy,
doubt
that's for
about
sure.
33-15, the BC Lions, the visitors, leading the Stampeders.
Well, he takes a bit of a shot at Scott Leckie when he's out of bounds, and Scott, I don't blame you for being a little upset. You don't like to take the unnecessary hits.
But Leckie, young Canadian, knows what the game's about. If Toner doesn't get Leckie out of the way and Leckie gets the football, touchdown BC. More trouble, loose ball, Konar, touchdown. Kevin Konar. The pressure was on Johnson. He lost the ball. It rolled around, and Kevin Konar came through with a touchdown.
Well, that's the second time the BC Lion defense has scored a touchdown today. Number 60, Benny Jones, at the left of your screen, comes in. The ball's loose. John Ulmer gets a whack at it, and they're smart. Hit it towards the end zone. You never know what may happen. Kevin Konar, good job to recover that fumble, and he gets a touchdown.
Ulmer makes a very smart play.
Oh, yeah.
That's it ahead, and Konar.
You know, you can kick it, throw it, you can do whatever you want with it, but you get it down there, and you never know what may happen. 2 defensive touchdowns today for the BC Lions.
Lou Passaglia adding one more to the total. Passaglia, a perfect day. It is now 40-15 for the BC Lions. The Lions with 44 points against Saskatchewan last week. That was the largest margin of victory for a BC Lion team, 44-1, a 43-point victory. And Rick Johnson wonders what's gone wrong.
Well, he can't be too happy with the performance today. Really, the 2 fumbles were not his fault. But he's dejected. He's a real winner, and he wants to make this team a winner. Greg Vavra, number 17, I'm sure this will be his cue now to warm up and get ready and get a little playing time, and I think it's a smart move by Donnie Matthews. The game firmly in hand now, 40-15. Why not give your backup guys some work? And Kevin Konar, one of the real unsung heroes, I think, of this BC Lion defense, been around for 8 years from the University of British Columbia and All-Star in 1985, and he's a good one.
Not a happy afternoon for the Stampeders in their home opener. They've had their chances. They have stayed close at times, but they have fallen apart and turned over the football far too often. Hopkins on the return.
65 yards.
And I think we will see Greg Vavra very shortly. Johnson will go in to direct the team on this sequence for Calgary. But Vavra is due for BC.
As the Bluebirds start here at McMahon Stadium, they're frustrated too. They have great expectations for their Stampeders in 1987. We'll now probably see them fall to below the 500 mark at 1-2.
Johnson had 31 touchdowns in winning the All-Canadian quarterbacking position last year. Down the sidelines, Toner. Marshall Toner. And he was stride for stride that time with Larry Willis, the other, the Calgary wide receiver.
Tell you what I like about a guy like Rick Johnson. You know, he's really taken this community by storm. They like him here in Calgary, and this year he's the 1987 honorary chairman for muscular dystrophy in Alberta. You know, it's nice to see a guy like Rick give up his time to a worthwhile cause.
Quarterback comparison favors Roy DeWalt by a substantial margin with 11 minutes, 30 seconds to play. Fourth quarter, 2nd and 10 Stampeders. From their 32. This is Gary Allen. And even Allen can't get rolling this afternoon. He had a great season in 1986. Averaging 5.6 yards a carry. All-Canadian running back, 1,153 yards.
Yeah, he did it all. Punt returns. Well, you know, he was a great punt returner for 3 years with the Dallas Cowboys, so that's nothing new for him. But that 5.6 per carry average that he had in 1986 was just phenomenal.
On 3rd and 12, Glenn Harper stands at his own 17 across the 20 to get this one away. Larry Crawford, number 28. Crawford finds a hole up the middle. And special teams let the Stampeders down on this play. Crawford still going inside the 35 to the 33. Scott Leckie picking it up after Crawford lost it.
35 yards on the boot by Harper. On the return, Crawford pitched it up to Leckie.
It's been a tough afternoon for the Calgary Stampeders. And now the punter, Glenn Harper, is lying on the field.
2 yards on the
A 40-15 ball game. The Stampeders, the British Columbia Lions, and the Calgary Stampeders. And we'll be right back.
Well, it's not surprising that Larry Crawford makes an outstanding punt return. He led the CFL in 1981, 2 and 3 in that department. You're going to see right at the end there, he knows he's going down, but has the presence of mind to flip it to Scott Leckie. Glenn Harper, the punter, had to actually make the tackle, and this is not what he's paid to do. And as he goes down, he gets the shoulder in there and got a little buzz.
First down Lions. This is Greg Vavra at quarterback. He fires that one low, and they call it a catch.
You know, John, this is such a great situation for a quarterback like Greg Vavra to be in. He's 4 years out of the University of Calgary, and now he's in a situation where his team is ahead by 25 points. There is no pressure on him whatsoever, so he can just go in with not be nervous and take control of the huddle and call pretty near whatever play he wants and try and be successful and gain some confidence that could help the Lions down the road.
First pass complete to Scott Leckie to 2nd and 3. Vavra looks to the end zone this time, and Sandusky can't come up with it. Ron Hopkins covering on Sandusky. Vavra had a great time last week against Saskatchewan on Sunday. 34 completions, 79 yards, 3 touchdowns. Sorry, 1 touchdown.
Well, it's a nice situation to be in, but the real proof of the pudding will be if something ever happens to Roy DeWalt and Greg Vavra has to come in and try and win a game for them.
Third and 3. The Lions go gambling with Vavra at quarterback and flags down.
Play blown dead. There are flags down.
Discussion continues with referee Ken Lazarek. What did you spot, Leaf?
Looked like a BC Lions moved a little early on that offensive line.
Legal procedure. BC number 17. Decline. First down, Calgary.
So they'll turn it over as it was 3rd and 3. So Vavra, a legal procedure called. Stampeders dodge it for a moment or two.
Funny, I thought the whistle had blown before they killed the play there.
Well, a beautiful sunny afternoon for Canada today in Alberta.
First down, Stamps at the row.
A shirtless crowd in many sections of the stadium.
Well, it wasn't too nice when we flew in yesterday, and then to have it turn around and be so beautiful.
27 Celsius at this point. Johnson almost picked off by Crawford. He intended that one for Toner once more.
Marshall Toner, the intended receiver.
Well, an easy play for Larry Crawford to make. You know, he's the all-time leading BC Lion with interceptions, and he just reads it easily. He's in that short zone coverage, and gosh, he had a great chance to take that and go all the way.
The Lions with 6 interceptions last week against Saskatchewan. Crawford had 1 and 3 today. On 2nd and 10, Johnson, far side for Gary Allen.
Keith Cooch does a great job coming up to support on that and hold him what looks like a couple of yards short of the first down. BC has done just such a great job on defense. When receivers have cut balls, they've come up and made the tackles, keeping them short of first downs all afternoon.
Short by about a yard, but it is 3rd and 1. Stamps might as well go for it, Leaf.
Why not? They trail by 25 with just 8.5 minutes left.
Allen stopped dead in his tracks. I guess it's been one of those days.
Yeah, it looked like Walter Ballard had just knifed through and made a super hit, number 79. No, he came over in that big trade with Jan Quincy from the Toronto Argonauts. On a short yardage play, the defensive linemen are usually slanting to the inside, and he must have been able to slip the block of Kari Lirenko. Yeah, Bob, it's been a long day.
Vespasiani and the Stampeders coming into the game at 1-1, beating Saskatchewan, losing to Edmonton. The Lions unbeaten in their only outing. Convincing victory over Saskatchewan. Anthony Parker tries to string it out. And there's not much room there. The Stampeder defense had that shut off well, led by Quincy Williams, number 91. Vavra is the quarterback for the BC Lions. Terry Irvin back in Calgary.
Yeah, I'm glad to see him in the league. Of course, you know, he was released by the Montreal Alouettes before they folded. He's been around for 11 years from Jackson State, 8 now with the Stampeders.
4 interceptions, career short of Larry Hybaugh's all-time CFL record of 66.
Yeah, last year he led the league with 12 interceptions, so Terry Irvin can get the job done.
Vavra sprinting out. Look for Pankratz. Sandusky was also in the area.
Oh, Vavra, when he was in university with the Calgary Dinosaurs, set a CIAU record with 17 consecutive completions. That's not bad.
So far, Vavra hasn't had anything going this afternoon. Basaglia, not bad numbers beside his name.
Just great, and you know, he's had a super career. It makes it so nice for a coach when he knows he's got a reliable kicker like a Lou Basaglia. You know, you never have to even think about your kicking game with him.
Basaglia likely the best two-way performer in kicking chores, kickoff, field goals, and punting in the CFL.
I wouldn't argue with that.
Off the post that time. Or at least off the crossbar.
It didn't seem to get quite all of that kick.
think he was trying to finesse it home. What do you think?
Little cut wedge.
Stamps take over at their own 25-yard line.
Wanted to bring it back.
Aha.
So it remains 40-15. 7:27 to play, fourth quarter. Stampeders having their tough luck difficulties this afternoon.
Well, Bob Vespasiani's leaving Rick Johnson in there. He said, you started this mess, you're going to finish it.
Well, Johnson has been a little vocal in his campaign to get back.
Oh, yeah, he was not too happy. He said, I was ready to play the first game of the season, and they didn't let me in. They don't pay me to sit around. He wanted to get started.
Johnson escapes the rush. Has close to 7 yards. Stopped by Bernie Jones.
For a 7-yard pickup on the play.
You know, quite honestly, John, Rick Johnson's going to be the guy that gets them into the playoffs. It'll be the strength of his passing arm. Not so sure with just a little over 6 minutes remaining. You're down by 25 points. It wouldn't be a bad idea to put Rick Warman back in there. To put him in there, period.
Warman started the first 2 games of the year. Does Allen have it? Likely does. Second and 3.
Gets 3 yards.
And it is a first down for the Calgary Stampeders, who are moving slowly. 6:17 to play, fourth quarter. It is BC by a bunch at 40-15. All kinds of time for Johnson this time. Tolbert. Tim Petros, I should say, number 12.
You know, people wondered where the BC Lion defense would be without James Parker. Well, he's a great player, but they've certainly been able to live without him to this point.
For Larry Willis. Andre Francis covering. BC in holding back a little bit, backing off.
Well, they might be. You know, I said that maybe Rick Warman should go in the game, but on the other hand, you look at it, Bob Vespasiani may be saying, gosh, I got to leave Johnson in there as long as I can. He's got to work on his timing under game situation now, and so maybe that's the reason why he's left him in there.
That's Gary Allen for the Stampeders near the 50-yard line of BC.
Complete to Allen.
Short of the first down.
Brought down by Bernie Gleer.
Bernie Gleer in there in a backup linebacking role.
That's the great thing about the Lions with their depth. You know, Bernie Gleer, number 7, is into the linebacker, and he's a darn good player. And they've got John Ulmer, Glenn Jackson, Kevin Koner. There's 4 quality Canadian linebackers.
On 2nd and 3, it is Tim Petros for the first down for Calgary. John Ulmer, 76. And Klassen, number 90, the tackles for BC. Bernie Gleer in his 5th year out of UBC. 11 games in 86.
Well, he was originally a defensive back. They beefed him up, and now he plays in that linebacker spot.
Willis. Forced out by Francis.
Johnson complete to Larry Willis. Knocked out of bounds by Francis after a 7-yard pickup. 2nd and 3.
Compare this now. First downs. Interesting. Only 3 separating. But then when you look back to a couple of touchdowns, one on a turnover by Ulmer, one on an interception, and one on the fumble, I should say. 2nd and 3. Andre Francis almost caught that 3 times.
Boy, and he would have had 6 points easy. You know, Rick Johnson really has made some poor throws at certain spots in this football game, because that's a pass that you either throw really quickly to Marshall Toner coming out of the backfield, or you don't throw it at all. He just waited too long, and I mean, Andre Francis, that's an easy play to read. He should have had it, and he should have been gone for 6. That would have been his 3rd. He's got 2 already. Boy, some of these BC Lion defensive backs, Mel Bird, Francis, they're getting on the All-Star team awfully early with all these interceptions.
Well, there were a lot against Saskatchewan and a lot more against the Calgary Stampeders today. 3rd down and 3. Stamps go gunning for it. Johnson is down. Greg Stuman, number 45, led the assault that time. Clausen was already there, number 90. But Stuman was the main man for the BC Lions on that quarterback sack of Rick Johnson. Stampeders turn it over once more. And the BC Lions continue to sit with a very comfortable 40-15 lead. Rick Johnson, that's not Johnson. But there are a few scowls at the Calgary Stampeder bench.
Well, you know, it's frustrating for them, John. They had a bad outing last Saturday night in Edmonton. They wanted to come home and show their fans that they are a good, solid football team, but they just haven't been able to put anything together. Rick Johnson, a frustrating day. But, you know, you have to like his chances down the road. He's a winner.
3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining fourth quarter. Lions have sacked the quarterback on numerous occasions. Favre the quarterback. And it's picked off by Hopkins for Calgary. That's his second of the day, and Favre not having quite the outing that he would have liked.
Well, the nice thing about it is 40-15. It doesn't really matter. So if you throw the interception, it's not the end of the world. And this is experience. He got the hit just as he threw it. Couldn't get anything on the football.
Nice diving catch by Hopkins.
Second big interception of the afternoon for Ronnie Hopkins in his 5th year with the Stampeders. He, Richie Hall, and Larry Hogue all came at the same time. In fact, Jack Goda years ago was holding a lot of free agent camps, and he got those 3 players. They've been here ever since.
Rick Johnson remains at quarterback for Calgary. He has a first down at the 48. Petros to the 55 and across. Bernie Glier, the tackle there for BC. Now, Petros has all of a sudden become a popular target, and Tolbert has disappeared a little bit.
Well, it's the defense. When you drop guys off deep, it's tough to force it into your wide receivers and slot backs, so you have to just dump it off and take whatever you can.
Rick Johnson has seen better days at McMahon Stadium, but there are 3 minutes remaining. Stampeders trail the BC Lions 40-15. An even 3 on the scoreboard clock at McMahon Stadium. Tough afternoon for Rick Johnson. His numbers have not been good. Last week, Calgary struggled offensively, struggled defensively. This week, the Stampeders have struggled offensively as well. Defense has bent a little bit in the later stages, but Calgary's defense tough at times.
Well, they were pretty tough in the 3rd quarter when they had to be, but it just wasn't in the cards today for the Stampeders. Well, they're at least having a good time.
Well, I'm glad they're smiling.
The sun's out. They're getting a nice tan.
Second down, a yard to go, Calgary. Just across midfield into the BC zone. Gary Allen, and he's stopped by Ulmer. I'm not sure if he made the first down. I don't think he did.
Well, it was the penetration of number 45, Greg Stuman. He was in that backfield so quickly, and they've done that so many times today on short yardage situations of the Stampeders that BC front 4 just gets that initial penetration, and you just can't get your running game going.
No loss, no gain.
No, he didn't get anything on that one. It was 45, Greg Stuman.
It'll be 3rd and 1.
It's happened too many times today to the Stampeders. You know you're in trouble when you can't make a yard on 2nd down. It's tough.
They got it that time, but they gave it to Tim Petros. A little bigger guy.
Brought down by Crawford.
They've gone to Petros.
Well, they have, and
later stages.
I think they made a good play selection right there. They've been going off tackle and slant plays on those 2nd and short yardage situations. That time just straight ahead with Tim Petros, and if the defensive line is slanting, all the offensive linemen do is block straight out and block an area, so it becomes a modified type of running scheme and a much easier one.
1st and 10. Johnson drops deep. Time to throw. Petros again. Just coming out of the backfield. Stopped by Bernie Glier.
Complete to Tim Petros.
You know, Tim Petros in the 1983 Vanier Cup set a rushing record with 267 yards, and I was doing the color commentary on that game, remember it well, and it was an amazing afternoon for young Tim Petros.
He was MVP. That was.
Oh, yeah. Had to be with 267 yards.
Finally, Gary Allen finds a hole. Flags are down.
Gary Allen carries.
1 minute 51 seconds remaining.
Holding, Calgary number 68. After the first down was gained, it'll be first down Calgary.
Kari Lee-Renko, the big offensive right tackle of the Calgary Stampeders, gets nailed for the holding call. And boy, they've lost a lot of offensive yardage with holding penalties. Rob Smith with a couple, and now Lee-Renko with his first of the afternoon.
The interesting thing is they've lost yards. They've had the penalties on big plays.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Bob Vespasiani will look back at this game, and there'll be a lot of reasons why they lost. I mean, the turnovers and that, but the mistakes, the holding, and the penalties, they're killers.
Stamps will have a first down because they had first down yardage prior to the infraction. Can Stuman catch him? He does. He's a speedster, Greg Stuman. Out of Arkansas.
6 foot, 225 pounds, and he, of course, has replaced James Parker in that lineup. And you know what? He got away with some great speed there because he took the inside penetration and actually let Johnson get to the outside, but with his great speed ran him down, and what turned was a poor defensive play he made into a good one.
Lots of 2, 2nd and 12. Stuman was a running back in high school, a linebacker in college, and playing well for BC. Bernie Glaire, the interception of the Rick Johnson pass. I think he was looking for Marshall Toner.
How many interceptions is that today, Bobby Layton? 4 today, and last week they had 6 last week. 10 in 2 games. Boy, they're at a record pace now. You know, Rick Johnson just has not had the touch on the football that he would have liked. You know, he sees the receiver he wants, but he's got to feather it just a little higher over Bernie Glaire. You know, he's looking at Marshall Toner, but really doesn't see Glaire at all.
One more turnover for the Lions. 10-9 on the day.
Ray Krause.
Krause has a first down. Johnson has a headache.
Yeah, he's got a big headache. This is going to be a game that he's going to want to forget in a hurry. Now, last year, the Lions set a club record of 44 interceptions in 1986. They got 10 in 2 games now. I think that record's in jeopardy. They've only played 2 games.
Ray Krause getting a little work in the late stages. We approach the final minute, 4th quarter.
Brought down by Bernie Morrison.
Morrison there for the tackle. Vespasiani wonders what went wrong this year to last. There's a long way to go in this season, Bob. Don't worry about it too much, but that's 2 bad outings in a row, and I guess that's what gives coaches gray hair.
Well, you know, if you look on the bright side, with Winnipeg moving to the Eastern Conference, they only have to beat out one other team to get into playoffs, and the way Saskatchewan's going, I like Calgary's chances.
Krause once more. And Morrison once more. 40 seconds remaining. The outcome not in doubt. The Lions with a very comfy 25-point lead.
Andre Francis on the sidelines with a couple of big interceptions this afternoon. Could have had a third. Roy DeWalt, a very good day for him. Donnie Matthews likes his performance.
Vavra at the controls of the Lions right now, running down the clock. 22 seconds. That'll flip now to 2nd and 10.
Vavra down on one knee.
Unofficially, 13 seconds remaining. And Vavra kills off the clock. That does it for an impressive football afternoon for the British Columbia Lions. The Calgary Stampeders look at it otherwise. The Lions open quickly and finish quickly. with a 40-15 victory over the Calgary Stampeders at McMahon Stadium. The Lions lost at home to Calgary last year, but won here. And there are 3 more meetings between these two teams before the 1987 season wraps up. Vespasiani, a loser for second week in a row. Don Matthew, the winner once more.
There's the final score. Calgary Stampeders lose for the second week in a row. The BC Lions go to 40 points for the second time in 3 days. 40-15 the final for British Columbia, who won by 43 points just the other day. And the final stats, well, they favor the BC Lions quite convincingly, Leif.
Well, they sure do. And, you know, we talked about this so many times throughout the broadcast. It's the turnovers against a good team that really come back to haunt you. There you see 10-3, and that was really the story of the ball game, I think.
The Lions defense came on a little bit later in the football game. The offense had taken care of things pretty well up until that point, but the Lions came through, forced a couple more turnovers late in the game defensively, but offensively, our game star this afternoon, Jim Sandusky, who had a whale of a ball game 2 weeks in a row for Jim.
Well, he did. You know, last week, 5 catches, 139 yards for Jim Sandusky. This week, 8 catches for 158 yards. Jim, you must be really pleased with your performance.
Yeah, it's you know, it's a lot of fun getting the ball as much as I had these last 2 games, and you know, I contribute that to our offensive line, so giving Roy a lot of time to throw.
Who were you working on mostly this afternoon?
Larry Hogue out there on the left corner, and we basically just went with our short game to try to open things up, and we stayed with it the whole 4 quarters actually.
You told us prior to the game that you were going to be trying to run the ball a little bit more too, and I guess that went fairly effectively for the Lions today as well.
We ran really well, you know, and that opens up the whole secondary, because they've got to respect the run, and you know, our backs just get a lot of yards. Our line's playing really well, pass offense and run offense.
One play in particular we want to highlight, Jim, from your afternoon of football. Maybe you can guess which one it is, but it's the catch in the third quarter, I believe, and the run afterwards.
Yeah, what happened here is we went on second down. We were trying to draw them off sides, and me and Roy talked about it on the sideline, and he said, well, we got a free one, so I'll just put it out there. And I think if Hogue would have just looked back for the ball, he would have had a good chance for the pick, because he was thrown inside, and I caught it right behind his ear, and you know, luckily I slipped the tackle and got some yards.
Well, you know, Jimmy, things even out in this game, and Ronnie Hopkins made a bad play, cut in front of you, made a long 68-yard gain, but on the next couple, I think it was 2 plays later, you ran it out and up on him in the end zone, and he got back at you.
That's right. He pulled right in there, and he made a really good play on that, because he looked back at the ball right at the right time, and I was going to try to sneak underneath him and get it, but he looked out at the right time and made a good play.
Jim, did you feel when you looked at 1987 coming back and signing the new contract with the BC Lions that Mervyn Fernandez had left, he'd gone to the NFL? Did you feel like it was maybe really on your shoulders to take over for him and be the big gunner on offense? I was willing to accept that challenge. I didn't think you know, it would be that much of a turnaround. Our offense without Merv in 85 and in 86 a little bit, we spread the ball around very well, and I think it made our offense more diversified and less able to key on one person, so they have to play us more balanced. And you know, next week I bet our next game I bet Ned has a great game, because you know, they'll try to shift around and do some stuff, and our slots are going to start catching a lot of balls.
You came pretty close, we understand, to going to the Big Apple. What ultimately changed your mind about a return to BC this year? You barely made it back in time for training camp.
Actually, it was just lifestyle. I've grown up in the Northwest. Vancouver's been a great city for me. I have a couple businesses right there in the Northwest, and the situation just wasn't right for me. And you know, I'm real happy to be back. I was real anxious to get into camp, and I think I had the best camp in the 4 years I've been up here. And I'm having fun this season, and that's the way it should be.
And the best start to the season in the 4 years you've been up here, I would guess.
Yeah, these first 2 games are great, and offensively they've been good.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to you and the Lions on an outstanding afternoon of football.
Okay, thank you.
Jim Sandusky, wide receiver, BC Lions, our TSN player of the game, and there were some other options open to us this afternoon, Leaf, but that was a pretty easy pick.
Well, yeah, I think Jim Sandusky, anytime you're over 150 yards in receptions, you deserve the Outstanding Player Award. You know, some guys on defense played well, too, though. Andre Francis, a couple of interceptions, 10 team total now in 2 games for the BC Lions. John Ulmer, who is a backup linebacker, really, he's getting to play because of the injury to Glenn Jackson. He comes in and gets a touchdown, so, you know, so many guys contribute. It's great to see.
Well, let's look back at a couple of highlights, and actually the Lion defense didn't get to the Calgary offense until later in the game. At least didn't get to Rick Johnson very much until later in the game. But when they did it with a vengeance. And let's look back at that the highlight that you wanted to show us.
Really an unfortunate play for the Stampeders because things were going pretty well. They'd come back with the TD to Emmanuel Tolbert, and then all of a sudden, Rick Johnson on the rollout. Now he's hit by Kevin Konar as he's going down. They determined that the ball came loose. It was live, and number 76, John Ulmer, goes in for a touchdown, a defensive touchdown. And anytime you're scoring defensive touchdowns, it's a killer.
And there was one more of that variety later in the ball game.
Oh, yeah. Watch Benny Jones, number 60, come in at the bottom of your screen. He puts the pop on Johnson. The ball comes loose, and John Ulmer once again has the presence of mind to knock it forward with his hand. And Kevin Konar is the recipient of that good play because he picks up the second defensive touchdown of the afternoon for the Lions.
There's little doubt the BC Lions would have gone in and scored after recovering that anyway, but I think you have to give a lot of credit to John Ulmer for flipping it ahead, just tapping it through to Kevin Konar. The score by quarters, 10-1 BC after 1, 17-14 after 2. The Lions add 3 in the third and 10 in the fourth, and 40-15 is our final.
Yeah, I think you can see from that line score that it really demonstrates BC had 4 good quarters of football, and that's what it takes. I think Donnie Matthews has to be thrilled with his performance, the performance of his team this afternoon. They were sluggish last week, but boy, they looked like a first-place team this afternoon.
DeWalt got off to a very hot start this afternoon. Sandusky was one of the reasons, and the running game worked quite well, and we did mention that at the top of the show. The Lions were going to try and run the football. Anthony Parker had a pretty good day.
Well, he had a pretty good day. I mean, I thought they were going to run it more. Obviously, it wasn't uppermost in Donnie Matthews' mind. They throw the ball so well, and I give a lot of credit to Roy DeWalt. He's been around for 9 years from Texas Southern, and he has such great command when he goes on the field. He reads defenses as well as anybody in the league, and he takes advantages of little opportunities that the defense presents him with, and I think he's just a super quarterback.
Leif, just a quick thought. We've got a very short amount of time here. What do the Calgary Stampeders have to do to get back?
Well, they have to stop beating themselves. You know, you turn the ball over 10 times. I mean, you can't beat the Renfrew Trojans doing that. So you got to tighten it up, play good defense, and hope that Rick Johnson can come back and have a good game next week.
All right, so the final, very convincingly, for the British Columbia Lions over the Calgary Stampeders. The Lions unbeaten as a result of that score. Back to Toronto now, Vic Rodder.